Yeah. Middle of the week. It is what it is. It. They got me working nights. What can I do? I got this new job. I got to figure it out. But anyway, that's me. There's your update. But in other updates, just to start out real quick in some kind of sad news. Kind of sad, not the saddest news. But a guy that we've been kind of following for the past few weeks that lots and lots of people have been following, Freddie from Germany. He has deactivated his Twitter account, or X, whatever, because shitty people ruin everything. He was just a German guy going around enjoying the World Cup, getting literally the experience of a lifetime. Got like people from corporations, local businesses, local people, sports people. Went to what was the thing? Not WWF, the other one. I completely forget. Well, the other major. Oh, not WCW. Well, the indie wrestling thing. We got to see
I know what you're talking about. The
John
WNBA.
and Jeff Hardy, and like actually got to meet him. No, it's not John.
Yeah. It's the WNBA.
Well, there was actually some violence there too.
Yeah.
Some violent pointing.
I was not saying that one without prompting.
No, that's true. But just a real quick here, basically, Freddie's left a message here. Is just he's had a great time, and he's getting a lot of shit from people that are like, well, you didn't tell us you haven't been to U.S. before, when he specifically said that he had, and that he wanted to basically take a completely different kind of trip, and just go off the beaten track, which he did. Mm-hmm. Anyway, there's your sad news. Also, some shit happened at SCOTUS. If somehow you don't know, then I don't know what to tell you. You've got to be living under the rockiest rock that ever got lived under. Just a real quick, birthright citizenship. There you go. That's the whole thing. And 92 pages from Clarence Thomas explaining why this is absolutely, utterly retarded.
I like that part.
Yeah.
The 92 pages is this. And then, oh boy. Ketanji Brown Jackson.
As I have stated in previous episodes, they don't make keyboards with M dashes.
I just gotta say, the snippet that I saw did seriously read like an LLM.
ChatGPT wrote it, kinda.
Like an LLM. Well, it looked like an LLM caricature of a really stupid woman. Like if someone took sum total of whatever she said in the past, trained an LLM on it, and then typed in, yeah, right as her, but make her sound really stupid.
Well,
whoever is clerking for her.
No, let's be honest. It actually isn't any more stupid than the regular dumb shit she's always saying. I just gotta say,
whoever is clerking for her hates her.
I would hope. I would
either from having to edit the shit that is being put forward, or from being the person who has to generate it.
We're just. Let's be real. We're just waiting for. We're just waiting for fucking Slate to show up in an actual SCOTUS ruling. Slate.
Well, Queen. You see, Understood the assignment already showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
This.
That's just the.
Where the fuck are we here, man?
Well, I gotta say this also. To be fair, if you look at the way that things were written by SCOTUS, past to present, this is not the first time, and to switch context here, looking at presidential campaigns, this is not the first time that Tippecanoe and Tyler 2 happened. Keep the ball rolling. This is not necessarily a strict break from decorum. It's just that in part this kind of feels like a "you damn kids" moment, and that just kind of makes me feel old. Not that I'm really afraid of that. It's just like, oh, god damn it.
Well, the thing about this is it's kind of personal, because there's this whole there's these
Because he
things.
voted against this shit, and here it is. Yeah.
Well, that's one, but the other one is I have some reservations, if you will. You know, I some ancestral issues, you might say, with this ruling. Much like another group of individuals that forms a minority of people here in the United States.
Look. If you're born in a feather, you get a dot. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, but also,
I put out a series.
Wait for it.
Kind of shit earlier.
Which is in there. Just want to make a note of that. Wait for it. In parentheses. In addition to understood the assignment, which by the way, by the fucking way, understood the assignment appears immediately after what? An M dash.
Let me go ahead and read you a few of these. Because I posted out a bunch of them. I saw, you know, that if you're born in the United States, if you're born in America, it makes you an American.
It's
said, okay, so I have a series. I have, let me just go ahead. It's like 10 of them.
But yeah, it wasn't until the fucking was it the 50s? It might have been the fucking 50s that all my peoples got to be considered real Americans or some shit like that.
Right. Let me help you out here. If you're born in a coliseum, you're a gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
If you're born in a hospital, you're a medical professional.
Mm.
And if you're born in a prehistoric museum exhibit, you're a dinosaur.
Mm.
If you're born underground, you're a miner and a miner.
Wow.
If you survive an abortion, you're a zombie.
Hmm.
If you're born into a nurse's arms, she's your mother. If you're born in a river, you're a mermaid. If you're born in a field, you're a farmer. If you're born on a boat, you're a captain. If you're born in Minnesota, you're a Somali. If you're born in India, you're Canadian.
Hmm.
And, you know, then anything after that is just horrific.
Yeah,
I threw all those out. Because why the fuck not?
Oh, yeah, no.
I should have.
Might as
I
well.
thought also putting if you're born.
I mean, they're throwing all kinds of shit out right now, so, you know, might as well join the party.
I thought also, well, I haven't posted because, you know, I thought about it for a second, and it doesn't quite fit the niche, but if you're born in Somalia, you're Minnesotan. I don't know. I'm thinking Minnesota is kind of going the way of California, where we should just build a wall or find a way to cut them out.
At least some shit is actually happening in Minnesota, or maybe I shouldn't say Minnesota. Maybe I should say Mogadishu, because they actually
we trade. Because we actually trade Minnesota for Alberta.
That's fair. But the reason I mentioned Mogadishu is that they actually went after one of the Leering Center dudes all the fucking way over there. I'm glad to see this. Honestly.
Well, you know, if Somalia wanted to get into our good graces, especially after the whole Al-Shabaab bullshit, if Somalia wanted to get into our good graces, and also including after the whole Somaliland end runaround, which is happening already, they would track down the dollars that came in and give them back. That would 100% change my view on Somalia. If they were able to track down every fucking dollar that came in, or just gather their own, and gave them back. And said, this stuff was brought in under false pretenses, this was theft, this is your money back, we're sorry. Anything we can do to help you hunt these people down, we are willing to do it now. The problem is, it's like half their fucking population. That would be in trouble.
Speaking of populations and percentages, we should probably mention with another recent announcement that what was it? 20% of Minnesota could be disenfranchised because
you're thinking of Springfield.
Illinois. Thank you, sir. Yes, up to 20 to 25% of Springfield, Illinois.
20%.
Could be.
We'll just use a round number, which is well quoted and well established.
Could be deported for losing their temporary protected status
after being here after over 10 years.
Yeah, their 10-month temporary protected status that was granted to them 15 years ago.
Right. So when 20%, when you can lose a fifth of your electorate due to them not being from there. By the way, this is not just the people that were there from like 15 years ago. This includes all the people that Biden shoved in.
Oh yeah.
Right at the end. You know, the ones that came in and started eating all the wildlife. This includes all those people going back home, where they could go back to hunting wildlife, seeing as they don't have any fucking domesticated animals, I guess.
Well, I mean, we've all been told that Haiti's a very nice place by all the important big muckety mucks with important big voices, so they'll be fine there.
That's why the other half of the island kicked them out.
Well, I mean, we've done some reporting, actually, on Haiti, and all of our reporting reveals that they are very big on barbecue. And
they specifically changed their laws on the other half of the island. They changed their laws to denaturalize and evict all Haitians.
Mm-hmm.
For a reason. And you can actually look from Google Maps. You can take a satellite image view of the island, and you can see where Haiti begins. It is very clear which country is which when you look at the border between the two. Like, this is night and day difference. One of them is kind of green. The other one is not so green. Yeah, it's very brown.
But
I'm not saying that like Haitians are bad people or anything. They're typically, Haitians tend to be lovely people, specifically the ones that are, assimilated.
Well, as many simple folk are, if they haven't been corrupted and perverted by awful people, they generally tend to be pretty okay.
I'm just saying, even if if you include the people who genuinely escaped Haiti because it was going to shit fast, and forgoing the whole asylum conversation, you're going to get a mix of people, but by and large, they're probably going to be good people. And if we look at the incarceration rate here in the United States, and we look at the kind of people that sit on the divide between in prison or going through prison versus not, you get the sense that around 80% of people are genuinely good, around 5% of people are genuinely bad, and the rest in between are kind of a mix. They're not genuinely altruistic necessarily, but they're not bad people. And if you look at incarceration rates around the world, that's roughly, Pareto kind of comes in here. The 80-20 rule is pretty consistent. About 80% of people are genuinely good, altruistic, want the best for other people, etc. You're going to see about that escaping from a place like Haiti as well. And, beyond the culture clash, that's the thing is, it sucks, but it was TPS. The whole Clinton scam happened. 2% of the money actually got where it was intended to go.
And let's not.
They need to go home.
As a matter of fact, no. We'll get to that when we get to Venezuela.
I'm just saying, these people do need to go home because they were here on TPS. They were not here under asylum. They had all this time were they to try to do so, to submit their documents and to attempt to convert into a permanent status. They're on temporary status. That's these are distinguishing things. There's visitor status. There are a variety of temporary visas. Emergency visas or temporary visas. No.
Visas.
So there's visitor. There's visitor, which includes work visas. There are temporary visas, which includes things like asylum, emergency conditions, like a funeral, and temporary protected status is one of those. These are temporary visas, not intended for permanent residency. They are as temporary as a visitor visa, but they carry additional privileges that
a handful of protections
that a visitor visa doesn't have.
That sort of thing.
A visitor visa generally is not going to automatically qualify you for work, whereas a work visa is
most visitor visas will disqualify you from work, to be specific.
Specifically so, yes. You promise not to find employment while you're here. This is kind of like where a work visa kind of straddles between temporary and visitor, in the same way that a fiancé visa straddles between immigration visa and non-immigrant visa.
Indeed. Oh, by the by.
But if they don't put in their change of status forms, within the 10 to 15 years they've been here, or with the Biden crowd, the few years they've been here, if they don't put in the effort to go through with initiating the process to get permanent status, you really can't cry when your temporary status proves to be temporary. You gotta go home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, your country has issues. Those are your issues to solve when you go home. Think of all the enriched culture that you can bring with you, that you've gathered from being here in America for so many years. Now you go home. Now you sort your problems out there. If you want to come back as a visitor. If you want to come back and stay here, apply as an immigrant. Like, try to get your immigrant visa and come on over. But until then, you got to go home. We've got to follow process.
Pretty much.
And I got to tell you, from personally being involved in some of the same kind of shit, process is fucking annoying, but it's there for a reason. If you don't follow the law, then what the fuck are we doing?
That's true. And on that note...
Everybody wants to have a special exception.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, we have got a guest, not tonight, mind, but coming up in the near future. Somebody we've had on before, actually. I can't remember what she goes by on here, but she's Mama Flicky on on Twitter. The English chick that had the kid.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, English girl that we had on before.
Okay.
She's married to an American.
What's that? You know what? Okay.
Jumping through the right hoops, doing things correctly.
I think I might recall this. What do you know?
Not Nora.
Well, certainly not.
Certainly not. But no, we'll be getting her back on again to talk about how things are going now that everything has changed so very much. Because the last time we talked, Biden was still in office, and it is a night and day as far as immigration and everything goes now. So it'll be an interesting thing to have, and an interesting thing to kind of catch up on. But
well, for one, if you come in illegally, you don't. That's the first step that we said.
Real quick note on that, as a matter of fact, since it's the only thing that can be done right now, because it has to, is they're saying that they're going to start cracking down on illegal birth tourism because...
Oh yeah, that's the answer.
We have to now. Maybe even have to put a moratorium on this.
You know what's funny about this? You know what's funny about this is not only are we finally at the point where we're going to start losing more people than we bring in. The projection, the doomsayer projection, which I think is hilarious, is that by the end of the century we might lose up to 100 million people. And this is the difference between projections of population growth. So mind you, the population would not be 100 million less from what it is today, but from what it would be projected to be status quo.
Oh, okay. So we wouldn't actually get rid of the 100 million that are here, just a large portion of them. Still, I'll take it.
But just in theory, either that or even it might even include getting rid of all of them, but our population would still grow above 335 million.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We're already projected to get.
It's a win-win in my book, man.
$4 billion anyway.
A win.
I think we're projected to be at what was it, 600 something million? There's some ridiculous growth projection by the end of the century. It was between like between 4 and 600 million. But that does not include the Biden ramp up nor the Trump slowdown on population growth, if you will. But yeah, 100 million less than previous projection, which, okay, I mean, don't threaten me with a good time, man. You mean housing prices will be lower and crime will cut off?
Oh no!
Specifically in immigrant-related crime sectors like violent crime and theft and breaking and entering.
Oh, how's that?
I might one day be able to park in LA without a note in my window that says "I'm fucking poor" and the radio's already gone. Keys are in the ignition. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe, possibly.
I think LA is going to be a shithole for a long time to come. If So this is the funny thing I said before, is that if that gentleman who was running out there as a Republican, he didn't get it, this time as mayor than he's going to be governor. Hope he does it. Hope he takes that and runs with it and gets himself into the governor's seat and just lays waste to all of the stupid shit that California's been doing.
That'd be nice. Be real nice.
I mean, the slime ball is in the seat right now. He's going to be going for president. You know damn well that's happening.
Yeah, it seems pretty.
And with all his attention
unavoidable at this
focused
point.
there, defending himself from the slew of bullshit, the cloud of failure of at the job and in moral character that surrounds him. You know, he's going to be trying to cut through the fog of his own stink to let people know who he is. And good luck to you, pal. You know, this is the age of the internet.
You got a little bit of
It used to
baggage
be
there.
that you'd have to save a newspaper in order to remember damn well that someone did something stupid and show it to someone. Then you're the crazy guy walking around with a bunch of article columns cut out. No, now you just have to click a link. And better yet, you can just post on X, hey, here's all the dumb shit he's done, and have a full fucking article shared out to millions of people.
Speaking of dumb shit, while I'm thinking of it, before I forget, should probably mention that Charles Manson, Jack Ruby, shit, I can't remember the other one.
This is a bit of a cast you're pulling up here.
Oh yeah. There's even more too. Quite a few people.
This is a roster.
It is, and it all ties together. As a matter of fact, it all ties directly together. As a matter of fact, these individuals, plus a numerous other ones, were directly coached, and can be proven to have been coached at least on one occasion each, by a man by the name of Jolly West. Jolly West is technically not a government agent. Jolly West is the kingmaker of MK Ultra. Jolly West is the reason MK Ultra is what it is.
Right.
So, that being said, it all ties back to, a lot of this ties back to Jolly West, because just because we found out that MK Ultra is real and that people are being brainwashed, getting ahead of myself, were being brainwashed into believing crazy things like that boys can be girls or something like that, or any other number of crazy things. These brainwashed individuals were let loose into the world with their newly formed ideas. Cough.
Let me help you stretch out a step further.
Well, kind of don't need to.
Why
it never stopped.
No. What do you think? No, this is a multilateral issue. What do you think MK Ultra was run as a test to defend against, to study in case of need for defense?
Well, from everything I can tell, MK Ultra wasn't run as a defensive program, but as a weapons program.
No, it was an investigatory program, but those are precedent. What do you think they were trying to prove could happen? Therefore, we must defend against it.
They were trying to prove a lot, dude. But the whole
right.
What the fuck?
The point being,
shit.
These were not lessons that only they learned.
The fucking forgetful assassin, whatever the fuck the term is for that, I can't remember.
Manchurian candidate.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, that's so. The idea here being that, in this, what's his name? Yuri, whatever.
Presmanov.
Yes, thank you. The warning there being about demoralization. That is a turn of phrase there. It's not just Russia. It's not just the U.S. It's not just China. It's not just India. Like this, there's a woven complex here. It's not just Israel, not just Iran, or Ukraine. There's a wide variety of stakeholders who have figured out that state power can be exercised on an international scale God, my buddy Matt would probably be thrilled right now to have this conversation. Just Captain Military Intelligence.
Well, and another thing that
But
neither one of us
point being, like
go on.
this is not a unilateral issue. MK Ultra, you can claim that as still a thing, but why was Iran forcing homosexual men to undergo gender reassignment surgeries? That wasn't because we told them to. I'm not saying it's an Iranian plot to make people over here churn out. I'm just saying that there are convenient stages to these things, and a genesis idea on one part could easily be taken by another and run with in directions that were unintended, stupidly, but that's just the way the government operates. You have a bunch of 95 IQ people trying to do 105 IQ tasks. You're gonna lose a few things. The issue there being, we have hostile adversarial relationships with other countries, and they will happily take things that they observe happening in our country, with or without there being an intent to do something akin to MK Ultra, and they will run with them to their benefit. Look at the way that toilet paper mass purchases in Hong Kong were used to spark off the exact same behavior, the panic buying here during COVID, and in Australia. And look at the timing of how those panics were set off, and you will see that basically it coincided with, it was shortly after, so implication being triggered by direct criticism of significance of China and of the way they were handling a growing pandemic. Australia was nearer, but they also did specifically specify China as an issue, and then people pointed out that the Chinese there were buying up their groceries using prepaid credit cards that were based in Chinese banks. That's where they had the women going in and out of the grocery stores, taking the limit of child food available.
Oh yeah, we reported on it.
Formula. Exactly.
When it was happening.
That behavior happened shortly after it was noticed that was going on. There was precipitation of panic buying of other items due to spread of information in social media. That was by the people who were doing the buying already from China, and some of whom were doing that to prevent the locals from getting it, versus just doing it so that they could guarantee their infants in Australia and in China were fed. Because, by the way, those products didn't just stay in Australia. That shit was sent back to China because they were rationing already. Fast forward a little bit, and what was happening? So fast forward a month or a month and a half, and you're in the United States, and everyone's buying up all the toilet paper, which is the same thing that happened in Hong Kong, as they had the toilet paper shortage, and everyone was laughing about it, and then it happened here. And part of that was driven by people going, "Gee, has anybody noticed how much toilet paper other people are buying?" So it was the same kind of media manipulation method.
Well, and
I mean,
the point that I was wanting to...
I don't like talking about these kind of things.
Give me 1 second, actually, because there was a point I was wanting to make specifically on what you're talking about here.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that is trauma and how it affects people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you consistently give people bad news, inflict trauma on them...
Yep, that's true.
Then
they seek it out, too.
They get used to it.
It's more interesting.
And not only do they get used to it, they come to expect it, and it becomes a reinforcing cycle. Which is the point I was wanting to make. We learned this because of MK Ultra.
Well, we also learned this because of Facebook.
Where do you think Facebook got some of these, early ideas?
Well, largely they were rediscovering.
Never minding where they got some of that early funding. Cough, cough.
Well, a lot of this was rediscovered through internal study at Facebook itself. they then shared with Congress during their little inquisitions. The specifics on how they studied how addictive social interaction was between people, and that kind of stuff.
But another thing that's actually that's come out.
So just to go back on the other stuff,
Yeah.
just for a half second, is
Okay.
one of the things I generally don't leap to discussing those kind of things, largely because and it's you can talk about socialization in this context too. To the extent that it is, there's people have the meme in their head that conspiracy theory is only months away from being a genuine conspiracy these days, and there's some truth to that. But the issue is there's a lot that's not that way. The moon's made of cheese, the Earth is flat, etc. So mixing the two is what causes there to be the confusion, and of course pushing forward to the front of the issue people who are the most insane. I get that part, but that's part of why I'm genuinely hesitant, as I think thoughtful people should be, to put forward such outrageous claims. The issue is that there is equally outrageous evidence that proves that they're true. So, MK Ultra, a great example being that the files exist in the first place. In a sane world, we would have found people who did that.
Now to be fair, only by a fucking fluke.
But again, in a sane world, we would have found people who did those experiments as a country, and we would have probably lynched them. But we haven't, and that's the kind of insane part, because then we're left to do the exact same thing again and expect a different outcome. That being, trust the government, because what else can you do? And then go, oh, they lied to us again. They did something in secret and fucked with us again.
Oh, goodness me. That reminds me of something we should probably discuss real quick before I get on to the... There's a whole bunch of things that I definitely want to hit, but one that's really important is just a few hours ago, they turned off CERN. So if you're listening now, Greg yourself, you may want to. If you happen to have any Fruit of the Loom clothing or underwear, you may want to go and see if the cornucopia has been restored to it, because that is a possibility. I've seen reports.
So I want to reiterate one, and this is less in line with the humor which that one's thrown out there. Just want to point out here that there's a pair of scientists, air quotes, in California who must have a lot of red on their face right now, considering not one fucking black hole has been found at the LHC yet.
Not yet.
Mind you, of course, were it possible, were it statistically likely, more so than their crackpot claims, which unfortunately, I appreciate that they are high functioning and that they are able to rationalize really bad ideas. The problem was this was one of those really bad ideas. Their math did not check out, and experiment has shown this. Were it possible to make black holes to some small degree in the LHC, which is what they were alleging, that there is a non-zero and significant chance that is worth not ignoring. So, better than
it might
1
be
in a
possible, but I don't.
Better than 1 in a million.
Think we're getting to the energies necessary to actually do that realistically.
Well, that's the thing. Is in theory there are energies that would be possible, but they're the better than 1 in a million chance that they're citing as a concern.
Now that one is going to be able to get closer, but
here's again the issue. Regardless, either way of how you want to cut it, if there's a non-zero chance that we have to take seriously or not take seriously. If they're able to be produced at the energy levels in the LHC, and this is pre doubling of the intensity. This is when it was just 7 combined, not 14. Then there'd be thousands of them being produced every second in our upper atmosphere, just all the time, since the beginning of our planet. Since we had an atmosphere to strike by cosmic rays, we would be producing thousands of black holes, little teeny ones, up in our upper atmosphere, all the time. The thing is, if a black hole like that exists, and it does evaporate, then you will see gamma rays from them, which we do not observe. Or they would start to accumulate somewhere if they were able to bump into a proton and pull in some mass and grow. This is... the energy and time scales that are involved here, this is just not something to be taken seriously. And, the SSC the superconducting super collider, which we were going to put into Texas before it got killed in the 90s. That would have been more powerful than the LHC. These geniuses did not raise a fucking hint of a concern back then. Which, to be fair, they might not have. It might not have been within their radar. They, not that well acquainted with them. I just know that they at least had a background which made it plausible to take them seriously. And then turns out they were just angry that it wasn't. They were involved in some way. So, like the SSC would have been more powerful. The next one, the next iteration you just mentioned, is going to be more powerful. Black hole's not going to happen. Anyway, this was me taking a facetious leap here. Fruit of the Loom, far funnier. Maybe Mandela really did the thing, right?
Oh, long dead. Long dead. Anyway, since we did have some of the bad news out of SCOTUS, just to be clear, it was a busy day. It's not all bad.
A couple cases coming in.
They actually they had the West Virginia and Ohio lawsuit regarding transgender athletes and said,
"Oh yes,
yeah,
yes.
No, actually, boys should not be competing against girls."
How about that, huh?
And so like I said, it's a mixed bag, but hey, yeah, I will take a mixed bag over some of the awful shit that we had to deal with for the past few years. So, hey, it's something. And just as a by the by, I was thinking of covering this for the end, but I mean, there's not really no point in waiting. And that is, we have a certification of Viramontes versus Cook County and Grant versus Higgins, which has been granted cert.
Cases.
And of course, you're going to be like, well, what the fuck are those and who the fuck are those? Well, Cook County is in Illinois, so that should give you a hint. But if it doesn't give you enough of a hint, assault weapon bans. In Illinois and Connecticut, 2 different cases, 2 different jurisdictions, both granted cert.
So, circuit split, I'm assuming, is involved here as well. So they're being granted cert as separate cases, right? Or are they being joined for consideration? Like, I'm guessing these are separate aspects that are being examined in each of the cases.
Yeah, they are separate cases. Not being...
So they are separate aspects. It's not just... All right. Interesting.
So,
it means there must be 2 circuit splits involved here.
That's possible. Either that, or they're genuinely just attacking it from 2 different angles, which is possible.
Well, I would assume they would take it as a single case if that was the scenario, but the circuit split is usually over time and precedent, not in two simultaneous cases. But yeah, again, different aspects make sense.
Don't quite know, but I'll throw a link to the. They've got the cert petitions up here in the thread. I'll just throw a link to the Second Amendment Foundation thread on that, so you can read over it if you'd like. So that'll be down below. But beyond that, also, we should probably mention, since we were talking about the Leering Center and going as far as Mogadishu to get justice, it looks like we might not have to go that far for some other justice. Interestingly, and unsurprisingly, Ilhan Omar has found herself embroiled in this feeding our future problem, because there are emails with the subject line that reference, quote, Ilhan's office. The $300 million feeding our future fraud stuff. And now we've got some hard evidence that she might be tied at the hip with some of this. And, I mean, it should surprise no one, but that we can actually do something with it could be very interesting. Perhaps denaturalization. That'd be very funny. Very funny indeed. Okay, what else have we got, man? There's the thing out of Harvard. Yeah, let's do the Harvard thing. That's pretty good. So there's a Harvard whistleblower that they basically just tried to quash the whole everything. And let me grab the Bloomberg Law article, because that one actually has like a lot of high-level detail on it. Let me throw that down here. Okay, so they've been trying to, like I said, quash the whole thing so that it couldn't go anywhere, and now it's same situation. Basically, they got the room to move forward. So a federal judge, they're allowing the fraud lawsuit to go forward, and the long and short of this is that how best to describe it? We kind of have in the past, but the best way I can say this is when you want your grant, you tell them what they need or want to hear, as it were, and then you put the money wherever the fuck you want to put the money to do whatever the fuck you want the money to do. Well, if this all follows through, then it could be that, no, you're going to actually have to report where that money's going and what that money's going to, not just it falls into a black hole once it hits your coffers. So, long and short here, I'll read from this post. It gives it a good idea here. If the courts conclude that this practice constitutes fraud, the financial consequences for universities will be staggering. Research grants can make up more than half of a university revenue, especially in medical schools, and the damages dwarf anything seen in civil rights cases or EEOC litigation. So, depending on how the whistleblower lawsuit goes, they're out here saying, they've taken millions and millions and millions and millions in grant work on projects that they just were like, oh, fuck it, we got the money, let's do what we need to do with the money. So this goes through, and honestly, it probably should. We could see a real shakeup in the upper echelons of academia. And been a long time coming. And to see it start at Harvard, too. That's really, really iconic. Let me put the notes on that in here for everybody reading. Okay, the other fun bit of news that dropped in just the past couple days. China has got their own Neuralink.
Oh, how about that? Let me guess. Yep. Someone from China was working at Neuralink.
No, actually, they've gone with they actually have a novel technology, believe it or not. So
I don't.
Well, well, just like the iPod was not technically a novel technology, I believe we're in a similar situation here. So there's.
I mean, I used too many knockoff Zooms.
Excuse me.
To ever think they came up with an original before that. They didn't. So
well,
this is another one of those cases where I'm assuming, of course, that they looked at published literature on the matter and
undoubtedly,
things from what they
extant
technology.
And this does make use of some stuff that we've reported on. As a matter of fact, the technology in use here, at least one aspect of it, is something that we reported on for some of the earlier, like mechanical and digital telepathy kind of things that are happening with MRIs and that sort of thing. But to that point, this is a surface mount, not deeply embedded. It basically has just got a couple of little electrode bits that just kind of attach to the outside of your brain. So, in that, it's a lot safer, you might say, of a procedure to be done, because it's just kind of cut a hole, put it on there, put the things where they belong, and you're kind of good. And now that said, they're already starting to integrate this shit into their NHS or whatever the fuck they call their NHS. And well, I would be very, very unsurprised to see them do anything other than roll this out with great alacrity. Because this is China we're talking about here. So that would be, I mean, really, think about it. The chance to get a chip in every single citizen's head, yeah, they're going to jump on that. So it's got, now I don't know, this initial one doesn't seem like it's a read-write thing. This one just mentions the device is having sensors, so I don't know if it's going to be as powerful as the Neuralink. Certainly not as powerful as the Neuralink V2 that's just now entering production, which not only can receive signals, but can send signals as well, which is pretty wild. And that one, I think we talked about that one about 2 weeks ago, how that's going to really just change up everything. Like, we might be able to start living cyberpunk style. actually be able to see in 360 degrees or see infrared or what have you. Pretty cool stuff. Now, speaking of infrared, we should probably talk about the Europeans. They've got a lot of infrared these days.
I hear that they are being blasted with infrared.
They are. And
from one country in particular, possibly more than one.
Two, actually. 2 countries. Only 2 in the world.
Ah, of course.
And our greatest allies. But that's neither here nor there. So, of course, as everyone knows, the U.S. and China are teleporting all the hot air from our air conditioning units to Europe. And, of course, our greatest allies, China's greatest ally, Australia, and our greatest ally, Japan, are assisting in this endeavor. But, there's only so much these smaller nations can do. But they're helping. They're doing what they can to teach those Euros an important lesson about letting thousands of people die for literally no reason at all for technologies that have existed for like a century and a half. Yeah.
There's such a simple answer to this. We have spicy rocks. Get with the fucking program.
Spicy rocks.
If you don't like how spicy they are.
Well, no, I've heard of something actually very similar to the spicy rock that they have in Europe, Les Spicy Rock, which I think they use. I think they actually use those in France to boil water to make electricity.
Well, here's the point: is if you really don't like how spicy the super spicy rocks are, if you don't like your Carolina Reapers, you can always go find yourself a nice cayenne by digging down into the ground a little bit and jamming a pipe down there.
Mm-hmm.
Geothermal is a fucking option.
It is.
If
That's
they
true.
really want, if they are so fucking desperate to avoid nuclear, they can just take advantage of the fact that the planet is a big fucking nuclear ball. The internal heat, it's not just residual; it's also from radiation in our core.
Oh yeah.
When our nice little rocky ball was a ball of soup, all of the really heavy shit went down towards the middle. That's why it's so fucking radioactive in the core. In any event, yeah, you don't. If you're really that upset about pulling up a bit of uranium or thorium and figuring that shit out, and you're doing the really hard stuff there, you can do the really hard task of figuring out how to dig down deep enough to get enough of the heat exchange.
Yeah.
And then, eventually, you're going to cool off your pocket of crust. And while you'll still get some heat through conduction, it won't be the same amount of heat because you'll have excavated it all, and you'll be once again returned to the same conundrum here in, say, give or take 150 years. Which level of heat are we willing to accept from our spicy rocks? And look, Canada has figured out how to do it without even enriching the fucking stuff. It's a bit more annoying to set up, but they literally have reactors, and they've been running for decades, mind you. This isn't like some novel new thing that they figured out. They figured out early on, you don't have to even enrich the shit. You just have to put it in a pool of water and take the heat out. That is an extreme version of what I'm talking about, but you get the idea. They figured out how to do it without enriching it. I can't remember what the hell it's called. It's a famous reactor. But if they can do it without enriching anything, you can do it without enriching anything. And hey, we have a country that we're currently trying to sort shit out with that has 3 amazing uranium mines in it. In fact, it'd be great if any of our NATO allies would step up to the fucking plate and say, not only are we willing to help, we're willing to take some of that uranium off your hands too, without enriching it. Hell, they could even bring in specialists from Canada, of all places, from that famous reactor that requires no enrichment, and show the poor Iranians how to run a reactor without doing any of the shit we say we will bomb them for. And in the process, build some of their own plants, and then have, I don't know, an exchange of uranium for expertise and personnel to power Europe, to run their fucking ACs.
Yeah, you could do that.
It's one of those things. Like, this is so simple. This shit is so fucking simple.
You'd think it is. You'd think.
Like, after all the problems with the ecological, all the ecological issues, all your wind farms dissuading whales from their breeding grounds, chopping up birds all the time, like to the point where they're competing with cats as far as how many birds are getting killed, including endangered birds. It amazes me the amount of dumb shit. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. While you're gone, I don't know. I don't have much of an update per se on the situation in Venezuela, other than that the numbers are growing utterly horrifying, terrible. Last number I saw was earlier in the day, and it was something like more than 1,700 dead, and that's atrocious. Let me see if we've got anything more current, any breaking news on that. Let's see. Have we got any? Yeah, it's sitting at about 1,700 as of today. Don't have any more update. Oh, jeez, that's as of yesterday. Goodness, it's probably going up still. Fucking heartbreaking, because I don't know if you've had a chance to see any of the videos, but they are atrocious. I've not seen... I haven't seen destruction like this. It's just... one of the videos is taken, I believe, from a building that's just overlooking like the street, and then some either hotels or apartment buildings across the way. You see the shaking start, and then the building across the street in the middle just crumbles. It just falls right over with everyone that was in it. Like, these people, there's no way they had a chance to react or act. So a pretty sizable chunk of the Western world, or I should say the Western Hemisphere. I mean, realistically, we can't expect, Spain and Portugal.
All right, I'm back.
Hey. So, yeah, just talking about the tragedy in Venezuela. But as I was saying there, we can't really expect all of the collective West to get involved. But basically everybody over here on our side of the world is, if not everybody,
we run
a lot
rapid
of folks
response teams.
Yeah, we've got people out. Colombia's got people out.
We run them globally. Most of the G20, I think, runs global rapid response teams. Israel runs rapid response teams. A lot of them. But like we just kind of reoriented their whole government overnight. We're going to be there, and we already promised. I think it was $150 million worth of emergency and survival supply.
Yeah, there are many.
We're going to take care of the people.
Many. The
that,
last I checked, there was about
enough,
150 tons of aid material that was being sent down there, and that was days ago. So I have to imagine.
Well, we'll be sending a whole hell of a lot more. I already know that.
But that said, there's
So there was I was at a birthday party over the weekend, and a mother who was there apparently is from Venezuela, and so she was conversing with friends and family that were dealing with that shit, and this was Saturday, and then so there was another 5 point whatever, doesn't matter, 5 plus quake that happened.
Yeah, like a 7.5 and then a 5, yeah.
Well, no, there was a 7.3 and a 7.5 on the same day.
The double and then a follow-up, right.
And this was an aftershock, yeah. So that sucks.
Yeah.
It was further to the east than the original two, so following along the fault. So the thing is, we're Caracas and the where was the other city, or the M or whatever that was slightly to the west of it. Where that is, there's a kind of like a flap that there's like the fault line kind of swings out more towards the Atlantic and then swings back towards the coast of the northern South America. And so the fault, the end point of that fault, is near the coast. It's right basically where the earthquakes happened. And you can kind of think of that flap kind of hanging out as like a lever arm. So when something finally not only is the end of a dislocation like that, so like where a line is, or a disclination rather. Not only is the end of a disclination going to be a stress concentrator, so that's like where things are likely to let go, but the fact that it has like that whole flap of tectonic plate hanging out next to it, that can act kind of like a lever arm, if you will. So like the intensity of a slip near the terminus of a disclination is going to be a bit more significant. So this wasn't like, California's the big one kind of scenario, but it was, I likened it to someone else being kind of like Hurricane Andrew, where people weren't ready for it. The real cost of life there was the underdeveloped infrastructure. So Hurricane Andrew wasn't so bad because it was like a freak Category 5 hurricane. It was a perfect storm of underdeveloped infrastructure, people unable to make their escape quickly enough, so being stuck in their homes, and then having it ride directly over them. So they kind of got the worst possible scenario there. In this case, the buildings were a combination of aging infrastructure from when Venezuela was capitalist and competent, and then new infrastructure from the communist dictatorship.
Well, it's a trifecta,
combined.
Honestly.
And
that third aspect of that, too,
no
which you haven't really gone into, is that Venezuela isn't built for earthquakes. Venezuela isn't Japan.
That's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Is that the building this is pretty much modern buildings just about everywhere. Japan to a greater extent. Like, we can build big buildings that are able to resist earthquakes pretty well nowadays. And this is partly, when you're talking about really tall buildings and big city landscapes, this extends to just the wind. Like, you want to get rid of.
The taller your buildings get, the more shear you've got to deal with.
So the fundamental the range of fundamental modes that can resonate on a building, you want to be able to damp motion across the range of those to the extent that you can. And used to, like, you can get rid of like one or two fundamental modes pretty easily with just a moving damper.
Mm-hmm.
So the pendulum at the top of a really big building that's instead of just being hidden is now being used as like big decorations. Things like that, they exist in big buildings regardless of whether or not you see them. They're used to get rid of the very obvious kind of fundamental modes for residents. But you need to be able to withstand like an earthquake. Those can be a driving mode. You have to be able to kind of damp across frequencies. We can do that with buildings. We know how to do that now. We're actually pretty good at it. You mentioned Japan, same kind of deal there. 4 plates in one place is kind of crazy. So, they've kind of figured that one out a while ago. But these kind of large earthquakes, we can actually mitigate a lot of the damage.
Oh,
and
absolutely. What happened in Venezuela? If it happened in Tokyo, it wouldn't be good. But Tokyo would be
have maybe 1,000.
Okay.
Well, less than 1,000. You have less than 1,000, like.
And you wouldn't have these building collapses that they're just
so that's
rampant.
The key there. That's the key there. I mentioned a hurricane. The elements can kill you in the hurricane that very easily. You don't have that when you're dealing with an earthquake. Usually.
Now, unfortunately, you kind of do, actually, because now there's.
Here, listen. This is the rule of thumb for earthquake responders and geologists who study them. It's not the earthquake that kills you. Same way, it's not the fall that kills you. It's the sudden stop that kills you, right? In this case, it's the buildings that kill you.
Or what I was saying, when the building collapses, that's where you lived. That was your home.
Right. Well, no.
So
again,
now, there's enough.
We're talking about
what I mean to say here is there is invariably tens of thousands of Venezuelans that are on the streets now.
Oh yeah. So the point of the infrastructure issue here, is multifaceted. In the immediate, the buildings aren't holding up. In the near term, they're exposed to the elements. They can't even like shelter inside the rubble for the way that these buildings collapsed. It's just that bad of infrastructure. The combined issues of aging infrastructure from when they were built competently, even without reinforcement for earthquakes, they were built as structures versus as attempts, which is what happened later on under Maduro. And those buildings just didn't fucking stand a chance. So then you have them in the midterm. This is going to be a migration issue to other cities in the area, which is fine. That's to be expected. You're not going to have people rushing for the border, but certainly they're going to need to find someplace else in the near area. Possibly in the same state, but maybe a state or two over. And then the long term, this is a financial bomb that has landed on them, because now they have to figure out how to cover the capital expense of so much. So they don't even know how many of the buildings, say, pick a cutoff, but say anything at 3 stories and above, you're going to have to inspect.
Oh yeah, every single building that still stands has. I mean, honestly, probably not even 3 stories and higher. Like probably most of them.
Probably every building, yeah. Because again, it depends on how long ago they were built, and again, back when that was the state of the art, it wasn't built with modern standards involved that do a much better job of mitigating.
Yeah, they help to mitigate that sort of thing, but unless you're building to Japanese standards, you're not earthquake proof. And even Japan isn't earthquake proof. There's only so much you can do.
Well, again, this is when we're getting down to talking about single story structures. They're still, you still want the roof to be able to withstand, say the vibrations that are going on without having a bunch of mid trusses fall in and collapse the roof. This is as a arbitrary example. So there's the inspections. So this again, it's in the mid and long term. These are economic. If you're an inspector, this is a great time.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of inspections.
It's cynical, but if you're an inspector, if you're in construction, the problem is, of course, it's an economic bomb. They lack the capital.
Now that said, Greg,
going.
That said,
but we're going to be there.
All things being as they are,
they
are in an excellent position for this to happen.
Because
all that crazy shit that happened just a couple months back with Maduro.
Right.
Well,
we're rebuilding their oil infrastructure, kind of as we speak.
We absolutely are. So we've already got people there,
and we're stripping down to wellheads and building back up, because everything that was left there was destroyed, absolutely fucking destroyed. Expropriation may as well have been just annihilation. The issue is that, unlike annihilation, which would have potentially just got rid of everything, all the broken shit is still sitting on top of the wellheads. Well, or was. So, this is as a capital investment goes, our company is going in there to rebuild as part of the deal to get an exchange of resources between our countries to happen again. I think it's a good deal. And it's certainly a great deal for us. It's an expensive initial investment, but the payoff is huge. On their end, it's going to be pretty fucking great too. Think of it. What was it, the number 3 richest country in the world? Wherever the fuck it was, it was ridiculous.
And pretty highly ranked. Yeah.
Stupid rich country. Certainly top 10. Certainly top 5.
We can afford all this free stuff for our people. Well,
exactly.
Kind of.
Until you try to build buildings, apparently.
Well, not even that. It's just until you decide to go with a governmental system that exists only to rob. But anyway, speaking of existing only to rob and tying this back in to the past on events we've covered and discussed before, children. last time there was a big, nasty earthquake in the area of the Caribbean, a lot of children went missing. Thank goodness in Haiti they were found. Who were they found with? Yeah. Do you remember, Craig?
Do tell.
They were found with a lady.
I like the blank.
A lady.
I like the blank parts of memory.
Well, they found him with one of the HR. I think she was HR. I can't remember exactly what position she had, but she was one of the head execs at the Clinton Foundation. 32, I think. Although I could.
They were just protecting them. Come on, Evan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were protecting
them. They were just
them
saving
from being
them for
found.
later. Sorry,
exactly.
They were just saving them.
Yeah, saving them from their families and their homes, and then by some small miracle they were found by Haitian authorities with this Clinton Foundation staffer who was then arrested and then let go after everything, because that's what you do. Arrested and let go, and the children were reunited with their families. Unfortunately, we're starting to see some weirdness here. There's one story from a woman here stating that they changed her daughter's name because...
Hold on. Let's just be extra double specific here.
I'll be happy to. Where? Basically, my understanding of the situation is that...
the situation where?
In Venezuela. That this woman's child was found safe and was at one of the community centers or whatever. I think a stadium. I think, because I did a little bit of background on this, but anyway, I believe her child was at a stadium. But
so we've got one woman with her child. Which is a great example here.
Had not reconnected. Had not reconnected with her child. So she went to the stadium or wherever it was, this place, went to claim her child, and was told that there was a name change and that the child was not there. And that's the whole story. I don't have more.
Okay, so
that's very, very weird. Very weird.
Now, what about scope? Is this the scope, and it's just odd, or is there
we have
a broader number of children missing in weirder
7
contexts?
Counted for so far.
7. Okay, 7
that
counted
were
for.
That were alive, that were in treatment centers, that are nowhere to be found now.
Okay, so 7 children are missing.
That were accounted for.
Yes. What about children that are unaccounted for?
Oh my God!
Still,
there are tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Yeah, I figured that was.
So things are bad. Oh, and just as a by the by, I can't confirm, but I have heard that Clinton Foundation people are actually on the ground now. Don't know.
That's inappropriate.
What to make of that? Just.
That's wholly inappropriate, is what it is.
Yes. Laura Silsby. Laura Silsby was the woman's name in Haiti that worked with the Clinton Foundation.
But here's the thing: is even if we just skip past the potential for political or partisan bias, let's just at the basic, take it at the word. They are altruistic and they are purely out of the goodness of their own hearts. They are there to help. As a private entity from a foreign country that was not invited in, that's wholly inappropriate.
Quite.
As a private entity that is there to spread their advocacies at a very minimum, to pull in good favor and possibly look at financial favor in the future, extra inappropriate. Come back later when you're not fucking with someone's whole life.
Yeah.
Fucking vultures.
Yep.
But help should be accepted wherever help is available, because beggars can't be choosers and whatnot. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. But
speaking of horse
check
faces,
the rattle on the snake. Check the rattle on the snake.
Yeah, well, speaking of snakes and horse faces, we should probably mention that Mackenzie Scott, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, hasn't paid a single dime out to anybody down there. She hadn't sent any money to them. was able to spend some on, making sure that children get sexually mutilated, but I haven't heard her really say much of anything about helping out the Venezuelans. Curious
Well, why
that,
would she?
considering she has, half of his wealth. Interesting stuff, nothing major, just a thing.
Just an observation, huh?
Yeah, just noticing. So that's just my noticer noticing. Yeah, good times. So something else to notice. A lot of folks are talking about this, and it's just kind of funny. Is a movie came out this weekend. I could go any number of places with this, but first we'll go up, and away, and we'll say that Supergirl has been beat out by Morbius. So we're not going up, and away, folks. It's Morbin time.
Oh my fucking god!
It's Morbin time.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Morbius
Morbius made more money on its opening than Supergirl.
Oh god damn! All right, now look.
We are back.
There are things to say as there's banter you can have on things like this, but when you replace Morbius as the new bottom, that's gotta hurt.
It does.
And that stupid woman out there talking about the movie,
well, maybe it's not for you to see. Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Your call.
It's what I say about the modern audience every time is the audience does not exist, and if you keep making movies for them, they're going to keep showing up in the numbers they exist in. Just what a fucking shit show.
Let's see. Do we have any? Oh man, there's a lot. Oh. Forbes, Yahoo, Hollywood Reporter. Oh man, everybody's writing about this thing. Oof, that's not good. Well, anyway, let's see if I can find out if anybody's got the full box office numbers here.
Super Morb, I see you in the chat there, Bets.
Yes. All right. What are the box office numbers here? Do we have actual numbers of viewers?
5.
Let me see here. Domestic.
Make sure you don't count the cast.
International 25. Total global. Ooh. Total global opening of 62.6 million. On a production, not advertising, production budget of 170 million.
All right, so
figure at least another 100 million in advertising on top of that, because you got to remember they had the Fleshlight cup for your popcorn. Oof. Okay, so let's see. Do we actually have viewership numbers? Oh, the numbers. Perfect. Thank you. What do you got? We have number of viewership. Domestic share. So it was open in 3,602 theaters. Runtime, franchise, genre, plot. No, we only have... Boy, I'd sure like it if they actually had kind of projected numbers of viewers, but they just don't. But then I guess I get that. That's just one of those things. It's... Let's see, box office. They have number of people... Gross monies, theaters per theater. No. Dang. Well, let's see if they have anything for the other movie we're going to want to talk about. Citizen Vigilante. So, let's see here. No box office numbers. Well, before we get into anything, before we get into Citizen Vigilante, let's talk about the box office numbers because, well, folks... things are getting really interesting. So interesting, in fact, that, it might just happen. They might just get it all the way out there for everybody. So, this apparently secured rights for international distribution. And that does not mean streaming, folks. that means this movie could hit theaters. And that would be quite the thing. Quite the thing indeed. But that said, got released. Elon and Uwe Boll worked together to basically release it for the weekend. I don't know if you can still see it. Let me see here. Because they're usually pretty good about that. So let's see here. Oh. Okay. Looks like European parliamentarian has... Okay. So if you want to see it and you haven't got the chance, it can still be found on Twitter. Let's see. That said, if you can, and you got like Amazon Prime or something, or any of these streaming things, give it a watch on there, because everywhere that actually brings the numbers up just helps. But again, that said, it. Let's see here. When my crew watched it Friday night, it was sitting at about 10 million views, and it ran all the way through Saturday evening. And just this one particular source I'm seeing, 1.6 million. This other source, another 1.2 million. And then various other sources, many millions of views on this. And that's a great opening weekend. For anyone, really. So, sorry, Soups. Sorry, what's that dog's name? I forget. Whatever the super dog's name is. Sparky? Fuck. Oh, Crypto! Yeah, Crypto. Sorry, Crypto. It looks like it's...
that's just a different one.
I guess this is Army Hammer's weekend. So, he gets to make quite the return to movies. And, as you might imagine, all the usual suspects are incredibly upset about this. And a number of folks have basically said, this is a garbage, kind of trashy, kind of exploitation film. I wouldn't say garbage. I wouldn't say trashy. I would say, though, fair. It is kind of an exploitation film. And it has a couple of moments where you can say...
Is it, though?
Yeah, definitely it is.
Is it really? Because it doesn't...
It is. Just because
is what I'm saying.
Victims. Now, just because that's happening doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Is it really?
Yes, sir.
I'm not buying that.
I'm
not buying what you're selling. Put it back on the shelf.
Nope. I'm going to say that. But I'm going to say that they're doing that in a good way, because people have been victimized. And so now you get to see that victimization exploited for a film. But either way, it's doing really big. Oh, and yes, you are correct, Bats. There is a brownish man who can't seem to make up his mind on the whole Supergirl situation. He's had to go back again just to see if he actually
Joe
did
Vargas,
hate it.
I believe is who you're talking about. Yeah,
he's
the guy whose opinion of the movie revolves around how much he dislikes the people who told him the movie sucks and were correct.
Yep, it does. He saw it once, and
apparently he's spurging out.
He's like, oh man,
real tough time here.
I had better see this again just in case there's anything that I can defend in this movie.
Like, hey man, see it 5 more times. Hell, see it however many million times it takes to put it past Morbius for second weekend.
Well, maybe he can do it.
I have faith in him. He can buy out the entire fucking town's worth of theaters and see it. Well, actually, no, that still wouldn't be enough. He can buy all of Australia's theaters. Buy all of them out, every single ticket for all the showings.
Oh, and I have got some data now.
God.
So, Citizen Vigilante got worldwide distribution rights. Who are they going through?
They got
going through
millions
Quiver
of views
distribution,
on X, just out of
excluding
Elon
UK, German territories, South Korea, and Taiwan. No, that makes sense. I figure. All right. So, have we got anything?
So what you're telling me is that the people in North Korea are going to get showings of this movie, and people in South Korea are not. Essentially.
Fascinating stuff here. Let's see if this has got any... Well, first, let me grab this Variety article, and I'll throw it down below for anybody that actually wants to read through. But, in the meanwhile... Let me see. Do they have any of the final numbers?
Wow. Okay, so his IMAX theater is entirely empty with no pre-order tickets.
So as of right now, just by way of iTunes, Amazon, streaming in general, it's apparently, and this is as of yesterday, it's made around. Was this yesterday? Let me see the date on this. Date on this article. Okay, yeah. So this is yesterday, early yesterday, as a matter of fact. So as of about 36 hours ago, the movie had made, in cash monies, about $600,000. Apparently, it was about about $2 million to make, is what it's saying here. So that's not bad.
It's certainly an Uwe Boll movie.
It is.
What I've seen so far. It's certainly a low budget movie. What I've seen so far.
Well, most.
But you don't have to be super high budget to get a movie like that made.
Like, there's a couple of spots in there that are like, okay, I can see what you would have liked to have done, but it was unreasonable to do, but you did it anyway.
Or Uwe Boll was involved.
Well, no, it pretty much anything that he gets involved with, you can, except for Postal. Postal is kind of perfect, which is amazing.
That's a cult classic, yes.
It absolutely is.
I just gotta say, like, there are expectations I have for movies of his that he produces.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they are rarely exceeded, and they are rarely not exceeded. Like, rarely not met. Rarely exceeded, rarely not met. He is a his brand of movie. It rarely deviates from the norm.
Well, you know, if you're getting an Uwe Boll movie, you kind of know what you're getting into.
Yeah. Now,
unless he's doing something other than revenge, in which case it's a total toss-up.
Apparently, yeah.
Because he does do stuff outside of that, but it's like generally he does kind of revenge-y films. Being fair.
Yeah. Well, look, here's the way I see it: is Taken was a series, you know, and people can talk about Albanian, this, that, and the other. At the end of the first movie, he's killing a fucking sheik on this yacht. All right, like, get the fuck over it. It's
everybody loves Liam Neeson. Right. Nobody has a fucking problem with Taken or Taken 2.
Or Taken 3.
Or Taken 3.
More.
Nobody's got a problem with literally the same story being told, except it's not being told about an actual story that's actually happening day in and day out.
Like, the Taken series exists. It's a great series. And it's the same shit. I mean, hell, John Wick.
There you go. Another revenge story.
Is anyone that fucking upset about John Wick?
Well, but a bunch of white people.
I would say arguably yes, because the dog did die. But, you know, beyond that, nobody is that fucking upset about John Wick.
True.
I mean, I think it's a fantastic series. But then again, I'm not one of these nitwits going, what rapes?
Well, you know, when it depending on what you're talking about, you know, sometimes you just have to say, I don't think so, mate.
Yeah, I've been saying that a lot lately.
Yeah, that's a funny world, funny old world. Oh, just a real quick aside on the topic. I would personally recommend anybody that's listening now, if you'd like to get some genuine depth on Citizen Vigilante, Midnight's Edge did an interview with Uwe Boll just recently, really digging into the movie, the distribution, the production. Very worth your while. Give me 1 second. I'll get that so that's available. Let me see here.
Well, while you're on that, and switching gears just slightly to the tangent we opened up, you know, the whole Belfast thing. So a church went up in flames recently, and a mosque.
That's true.
And I gotta say, people had people did not react the same to these two events,
Curious.
and for understandable reasons. Well, we've got the amazing um, Muslim church here in the United States, the one led by Farrakhan, which may as well be the level of almost, dare I say, Wahhabism that's flooding over the borders into the West. Well, actually, I shouldn't say it as Wahhabism or Wahhabism. Wahhabism is more of the so in Saudi Arabia you have so in Iran you had the kind of the cleric class that had taken over. In Saudi Arabia, that shit wasn't allowed to fly, but the the Islamic radicals still exist there, and Wahhabism, so they're the Wahhabi Muslims in Saudi Arabia, and so they're radical, but they're like kept in check. So really, it's more of the underclass that is more radical because they have less to lose, and the things they could lose are more significant, like digits and whole limbs. Let alone the fact that there is a slavery class there. So they've not to the extent that Qatar is a slave state, but Saudi Arabia does have that. They practice more sex slavery than trade slavery or chattel slavery, but that's part and parcel of being in that region. Kind of like explosions in a modern London.
Something. Living in a big city.
Right. So, there's that aspect to it, but yeah, it's not so much Wahhabism. But yeah, the Farrakhan thing that's already here. It's been here for a while. It's festering slowly, but that level of extremism is kind of the derangedness of Wahhabism mixed with hating white people because of slavery.
Yeah,
somehow.
Never mind the thousands of times
trade.
over that reparations have literally been paid to blacks. Never mind the blood and treasure that whites have spilled to give them some semblance of modernity.
Oh, you mean when England, on a whim, decided it's time to end the slave trade around the entire planet, and so we're going to go to war multiple times over and do that, then recede back into an island and slowly kill itself.
Bless their sweethearts. They tried. They really did. I mean,
well, Benin got fucked. That's what happened. Hard. Several times in a row. Like, what was it, 3 different wars they did there? They had that big naval blockade, and they did the siege on the harbor. Like, they took that shit to task.
Well, they did. They did.
They knew the fucking assignment, sir.
Unfortunately, Libya.
Oh, I mean, Libya, Liberia, etc.
Yeah. The whole. Unfortunately, there's more slaves in slavery today than there were when the crown decided that it wasn't good anymore.
Well, you see, that's the fun thing, is to consider, where I have black persuasion is, should I actually go back to Africa, in the quandary sense there, should I actually go? There's the very real potential, as the fat, lazy, and stupid American that I am, that I would just be enslaved or ransomed.
That is possible.
Depending on where I go. And obviously, an intelligent American would not fucking go to a place where they'd be enslaved or ransomed. But, the fact that it's a non-zero chance in the sense that you have to pick and choose your city, let alone the neighborhood you're going to be near, that's a bad thing. And so when those countries come back to us and say they want reparations for selling slaves to the people that ended up here, I got no sympathy whatsoever. And you want reparations for people buying your products and then being told later that you're not allowed to sell them anymore?
Well, and the other thing too is you get into there's no part of this that doesn't end up in very uncomfortable conversations for the people that are making these claims. There just isn't a good end, because for me it's like, hey, I'm from a northern state and I'm like part Indian. You ain't got shit on me. You owe me, actually. So I mean, what the fuck do I care? But anyway.
Well, hell, I mean, it's this is one of those things where at some point you've got to recognize, and this obviously on their end it's the same reason that the Somalis were able to take so much money out of our country in the first place. They played on the good-natured will of people, the goodwill of good-natured people who are willing to take people at their word until proven otherwise, and they just start off with a lie. So you're kind of screwed from the beginning. They're going to get whatever they can from you before the lie finally collapses. And you have some thief like this showing up saying, "Yeah, me too." Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole entire thing of apologizing for everything ever. None of the people involved at that time are alive today.
No.
None of the people who would be directly benefited are alive. So, case closed, job's done, game over. Like that has to be the clean way you pinch that shit off. Has to be. There's no other way around it. If you go down that logic loop any other way, it's going to boil down to, how do I benefit my people and me specifically over everyone else in such a way that I'm the one who gets screwed last, and maybe I can head that off by never being screwed. Like the zero-sum nature of that is so stupid.
Oh, man.
When we've got more shit to do.
I really wasn't wanting to use that specifically as a segue, but I guess here we are.
You're welcome.
So you remember the thing that was going on with Wayfair that we were talking about a time back?
A while ago.
Yeah, with the
one
interesting
with selling
listings.
Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the $15,000 cardboard desk. Yeah.
Yeah, Stacy, the desk from IKEA that's $15,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I remember.
I don't know if you're
specifically us being skeptical and looking at the fucking website and seeing is believing. Seeing these listings.
There's some very weird stuff there, and we never really got any answers.
Seeing these listings on Wayfair. Do we have answers now?
Well,
or is this just a timely reminder?
If only.
Damn it.
If only. No.
All right, lay it on us.
All right, so you probably watch more TV than I do. I'm catching a little bit now at the new job because we have a TV that runs. So I've seen some advertisements for this new service, an online service, kind of like Etsy, if you will, called Vinted. Probably to mean vintage or whatever. It's a place where you can sell your old clothes and such, or housewares.
That's such a fucking respectable name nowadays. Just now. Here's the question. Does it have an ED at the end, or is it an apostrophe, or is it just a D at the end?
No, it is actually spelled out, Vinted. It's not VINTD or anything. It is spelled.
Yeah, that's like the point where I'm at is just expecting dumb shit like that.
No. This one is spelled as you would expect. Let's take a look here. They've got a purebred tight plush trade sell for $6,000. Brand Disney. Color is cream and rose. 3-year. Oh, they've got some emojis. Oh, what are these here? A pizza and a bunny. 3 years used DM for measurement.
Pizza and a bunny, huh?
Purebred white, and then a little girl emoji. Oh, with free shipping. Huh. That's just one.
Can't get around that shit.
So that's one. So then we have, a plushie here. 6 years and a half. Doesn't yell. Listens. Easy to use. Very soft. Perfect move. Smooth innards. Extremely tight. Good at blowing. Named Lizzie. Free shipping. Bunny. Stuffed animal. 3 years old. Female. 91 centimeters. 13 kilograms. Tight. Small. Blonde. Blue eyes. Obedient girl.
At some point you just gotta imagine that they're just fucking with people. But no, this is
And the
Well,
prices. The prices are
the price is right again. Is that what's going on?
generally. Some are lower than they should be, but by that same notion, some are much higher, like this plush for 30,000 euros that's 9 years old in good condition, white and virgin. I don't know about any white female virgin plushies. That's a little peculiar.
Like how again, like at a certain point, like you gotta feel sometimes these people are just fucking with you. Like that is so on the nose. Like on the nose to the point, like nobody's gonna fucking investigate. Like it's so on the nose to the point that like you expect to see a handful of these advertisements, and no more because the people doing them got caught.
You might think that. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, for $6,000 you can get 15. A lamp for office or home usage. That is in condition is satisfactory. Uploaded 2 minutes ago. 15 female, quiet, submissive, shy.
Well,
that's a very interesting
we
way
need
to
to take a
describe a lamp.
pause. We need to take a pause and switch subjects to something a little bit brighter in our day, just for a moment. It is just after midnight. Happy July. It is no longer Pride Month 6 of the year. I guess it's Pride Month 7 of the year.
So,
but it is no longer Pride Month.
So yeah, let's
Happy
backtrack
endings.
Actually a little bit and share some good news.
Right.
Actually, so
we should,
Citizen Vigilante is #1 on Amazon Prime as of 2 days ago. So it's still going. And the second, of course, being that the way it's doing so well.
I was looking for a place to be able to support Uwe on this one, and that sounds like just the place I'm going to do that, I guess.
Hey, yeah, there you go. Also on iTunes.
Frustrated with the way they're doing shit.
But that said, it's been confirmed now. Citizen Vigilante 2.
Yes.
Don't know when it'll be entering production, but it will be entering production. Now,
it was kind of being laid out there as a joke a little bit, the end of the Somali fraud. But he said, it needs to hit certain, figures enough to merit a sequel, and hey, he can put on his beret and play artist this time around, see what he can do. If the production value goes up, and I imagine it will from the revenue he's looking at getting from this, fantastic. Maybe he can get himself into an actual studio this time, get some scenes done properly, etc., etc.
Sure.
Bring in some of the same cast as cameos, because I got to tell you, that was one of the best pictures I saw to come out of this whole thing was the cast.
Well, that's actually that was one of the points I wanted to touch on. As a matter of fact,
yeah, go for it.
There's a man by the name of Faris Mungi. Faris Mungi is the father. You know who I mean.
Yeah.
Anybody who's seen some of the preview videos should know who I mean, and if you don't, you'll see. But let me see if I can find his quote, because he actually posted online that sometimes it's important to tell these kind of stories. I'm really paraphrasing badly, but he's basically just praised the film, and he is not a good guy in the film.
Well, as an actor in the film, kind of, not saying you're obligated to, but you're going to praise it. I imagine he's being genuine about it, mind you, because if you don't have anything to say, then you can say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And precious few people do that, but intelligent actors might. But again, if he's coming out and praising the film and saying, basically defending his position as the bad guy in the film, which more power to him, man. He shouldn't have to, but I'm glad he's doing it. It's great to see that the people who were acting in the film, especially a low budget film like this, weren't just doing it to get their paycheck. They were doing it for a purpose.
Well,
I don't like activism in that sense. Like, I don't like activists in general, just piss me off. But this this is a genuine push to perform in a role which matters to a degree. Like this is reflection of the culture right now. The issue, major issues that are being faced.
Oh, I've found it. I've got it. Here we go. From his Instagram post. From Ferris Mongi on Instagram. Justice isn't always found in courtrooms. Sometimes it hides in the darkest places. In the film, Citizen Vigilante, I didn't just play the role of Ibrahim. I lived through an existential struggle that forces us to question everything. If the law doesn't protect the weak, does it become a moral duty or a crime to take matters into our own hands? This isn't just another film, it's a direct challenge to the systems we live under. Bravo, sir. Well said. Well said. Oh, is there an... Oh, somebody got an interview with him. Okay, great. Well, let me grab that. I'll throw that down below. Actually, hold on one second. I'll throw it in the staff chat, too, if you want to check it out. But I'll throw that down below for anybody that wants to actually catch an interview with one of the co-stars of the film. Probably be quite interesting.
I think so.
Okay, and here's some of the pictures from the production. That's cool. Well, anyway, moving along, Citizen Vigilante has surprised a lot of people, and I am absolutely here for it. And yeah, we needed a change of pace from the previous topic. Let's be fair. So let's change the pace a little bit more and talk about a fairly interesting little Kickstarter that got sent my way because I backed something these guys did a couple years back.
So talk to me about this before we got on.
And it is Neato Burrito. They've made like a pocket-size laser engraver. It's by a company called
It's
Hand Boost.
Smaller than a can of soda. No, it's shorter than a can of soda, a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Little cube.
Yeah, it's I can't really think of anything that's like an adequate description of its size, but
like the size of a stack of Post-it notes.
About 2, but yeah.
Well, like the cube stacks.
Yeah, like the big fat stacks, but yeah, it's not big at all. It's smaller than a GameCube, and yes. It is. They've got 2 varieties: one with a 1.5 megawatt laser or 1.5 watt.
It's only
watt laser, and the other one with a 500 milliwatt laser. But it is a neat little guy, and it's got
from megawatts to milliwatts. What are you doing to me over here?
Sorry, my bad. But it's a neat little thing. You can run it on a like a USB power supply for the small boy. The big guy, you could. You're just going to need adequate power. But with that said, it's pretty neat, and it looks like it might be pretty useful. Also, Kickstarter is a crazy price. They're selling the thing for under $100. Even the big boy one, selling it for $120. Great deal.
The cool thing, the thing that kind of, almost sells it to me here, where I am in the position I'd be buying, was the part where you mentioned that, like the bottom can come off and you can just engrave stuff, kind of just directly under it.
Well, as I'm looking at it, it has a hole in the bottom specifically for that.
Right, and I mentioned, there's the issue of keeping, so that the laser power has to be dumped in a small enough spot to get the heat generation to actually burn and engrave.
Right.
So if you're not within the focal point, or the focal plane, if you will, then it's be incredibly inefficient and slow. But if it's built to go through the bottom, like if it sits in a cradle otherwise to engrave something, and then you take the whole top, the whole cube off of it to get back the item, then that means you could potentially just put the cube down on whatever you want to engrave.
And it looks like that's
we mentioned before the show that means you could just pattern it out and just not bump it while it's doing its thing and then move it over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty fucking nifty.
It really is. I mean, they've got an extension stand on there to allow you to do taller stuff. Neat.
Matt says he still has 59 minutes. Well, you know what, motherfucker? Just
Well, it's a shame that you're not on the East Coast and you're still stuck in Fag Month. Sorry, bro. Big F's in chat for bats. Everybody drop an F in the chat.
oh well.
There you go.
Rainbow bats for the next hour.
All right. Well, so let's share a cool piece of news. Something really cool. How about this? How about the Concorde? That's pretty fucking cool, right? Supersonic flight? That's fucking dope. That's what that is. So, the DOT has basically said, we're back, bitches. We're doing it. The long and the short here is apparently what they're going to do with this is to change the speed limit thing to noise limit things. And with modern supersonic jets, there are some that have really got it dialed in. There's one that I can't remember the exact altitude. It's a very specific like altitude range where the sound waves basically just bounce off the lower atmosphere and kind of cancel each other out. To explain it in the simplest of terms.
Yeah, they're the destructive interference. So it depends on the transition that happens. Like, so the speed at which they break the barrier is part of the delta. So, as an example, the space shuttle, upon launching and upon returning, there's sonic boom of acceleration and deceleration. So the fact that the collapse of the wave against itself, like from the front versus back wave on a plane, like that can happen. That's directional. Being orthogonal to that plane, being orthogonal to that motion, so being out of plane, so to speak. Like that means that you can kind of direct where that sound is going to be an issue. To the same extent that we were complaining about silencers not being a thing, for being an approval issue. Same kind of issue there, where we have kind of an unknown impact on wildlife kind of thing. If we're talking about international flights and you're over ocean water, I think that this shouldn't be a fucking issue.
Oh no, the dolphins that are under the water.
Right. So like that is such a especially trans-Pacific flights. That's such a non-issue. And you can just wait that little bit more before to get outside of, say, get into international waters, if you will. That is an easy sell to me. That you have to get out far enough to get in international waters. Like, that is such a simple sell for supersonic flight. I mean, after that, they just got to make sure, dot all your I's and cross all your T's as far as the engineering is concerned.
Well, on that, I've actually got the transportation.gov briefing up here, and I'll just read directly from Sean Duffy's statements. Restoring supersonic flight over land isn't just about speed, it's about unleashing American innovation and ushering in a golden age of travel. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, we're working at lightning speed to safely enable the next quantum leap in aviation technology and deliver an exciting new way to fly to the American flying public. Advances in aerospace engineering, materials science, noise reduction, and new operational concepts will eliminate the old sonic boom. This means we can ultimately repeal the ban from the 70s on supersonic flight over U.S. territory. While minimizing noise impacts to residents in communities along the route near airports. Yeah. And this is how America wins, by moving at the speed of our innovators. For too long, outdated rules held back our engineers and manufacturers. Under President Trump's leadership,
that's very true.
We are clearing the runway for supersonic flight, strengthening our industrial base, creating high-skilled jobs, and ensuring the future of aviation is invented and built in America. American ingenuity broke the sound barrier once before, and today's action ensures that it will define a new golden age of aviation.
So that that is a lovely statement, and I agree with it in whole.
I have an FAA statement here as well. Let me read the FAA
in a moment. We'll bookend my comment on it.
Yeah, go right ahead,
because I think that'll help. So that doesn't address the dotting the i's, crossing the t's thing I mentioned earlier, and this is more of a compliance issue than it is strictly an engineering issue. The Boeing the 767 Max, whatever it was, the one that had the software issue. That's the kind of, and keep in mind that's in flight that is far less regulated because it doesn't have a sonic boom, et cetera, et cetera. Like that is the kind of issue I'm talking about.
Fair. Yeah, I mean that's going to be a given. So
exactly,
let's hope that
so
they've got all the DEI hires out of Boeing before they start building this fucker, right?
So this is what I'm saying is that it's a new mode of shit that can go wrong, and so you just gotta, it's that much extra.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't be guaranteed that it is going to be built by the finest and greatest minds of our generation, like the Concorde was. So yes. Now one hopes that it will be. One hopes that it will be, but we are unfortunately at that. There is a non-zero chance that someone that should never be anywhere near it will have a hand in designing it. So,
But again, I think that we're going to be there, and so I think this is where you have an FAA statement, which sings the phrases I hope it does.
So, I could read the whole thing, but it's kind of not really necessary. Just the key point being that they travel significantly faster than standard planes, sometimes up to not double, but like time and a half at least. Anyway, one key to enabling supersonic travel is reducing the noise experienced by sonic booms. One means of achieving this is by using a flight technique called Mach cutoff, where the aircraft design, atmospheric conditions, speed, and altitude work in combination to ensure the sonic boom bends and reflects back into the atmosphere. That's the one I was telling you about. Significantly reducing its ground level impact. The FAA is collaborating with the International Civil Air Organization, NASA, industry, and academic institutions, and applying the research-informed supersonic noise standards. There's not a lot there, but that is kind of their statement on it. Which is, that doesn't actually tell anybody anything new. That's what we were just saying. But looks like they, according to the DOT, they want to have the rules finalized by the middle of next year.
Okay.
Let me see if they've got anything otherwise noteworthy in here. No, this is just based on the Executive Order 14304 that basically said, look, fix it. So, we're fixing it. Been a long time coming. Yes, and speaking of things being fixed, let's head back over to where we had some bad news. And by the by, I did throw in a couple links to some kind of heartwarming videos and stories from Venezuela where people and animals have been rescued. But what has happened, an interesting thing in Venezuela, for one, Elon sent down a bunch of Starlinks, which is great. These people could, there's a it's like, oh, they got the internet. Well, yeah, but they've got the internet. There's a lot that you can do with that. You can surf your porn sites, but you can also run your drones. You can
also do things like post to social media and see if a family member who you got separated from.
Exactly. You can coordinate people. You can coordinate organizations. You can more easily,
as cliche as it is, you can
Internet
mark
of
yourself
things,
safe from the Venezuelan earthquake.
But that's only Starlink.
Right.
However, great news. Great news. X is unblocked. You can just hop. Well, I mean, in Venezuela, it's been blocked for the last 2 years.
I know. It's just one of those things where it's like,
and it's not just X, but this is like nationwide blocks that are coming down.
Right.
From the state-owned
It's
ISPs.
just one of those subtle things where, like, in the context, it seems so minimal. But it's important.
Well, it is. It's a big deal. This is another one of those things. Like, these people, that gives them access to, for one, the outside world, sure, but the outside world who can help. These people, and now that we're not an enemy state, we can quite literally help them. Like, you could set up a GoFundMe for some of these folks.
Well, I mentioned that the person who I was talking to or not Dr. Drew, the person who's at the birthday party this past weekend.
Yeah.
Was Venezuelan. Like, it's already a pain in the ass to contact people in Venezuela. Like, it's so her talking with family and friends who are over there. Kind of, it's important.
Sure. If
This
for nothing else
of
than just to check in on the people that you care about.
Yeah.
But, this is objectively good. So let's go with some other objectively good stuff, because I've got a couple of objectively good things that we can go over as we're going. So I'm not draining the bottom of the barrel here for the end of the show just yet. So this one,
okay.
Which I know we're getting there. We're not far off, but
I know.
We got something very interesting. Frog-derived gut bacterium eradicates 100% of tumors after a single dose in mice. But
right.
It is Ewingella americana. It is apparently non-toxic.
Well, hey,
outperforms.
Toss that in your folder for things to talk with. What's on myself? The gentleman we talked about longevity.
Yes, absolutely. That would be a great thing to talk about with.
Chuck that in as one of the factors to that. Remember, he was doing the multi-factor approach.
Absolutely, maybe that would be a great thing to throw in his studies. By the way, we're talking about Aubrey de Grey. If you'd like to look him up, absolutely one of the foremost minds in anti-aging technology. Brilliant mind, absolutely worth a follow. Give him a look. But this Ewingella americana. Mm-hmm. But we've got this Taylor and Francis Group research article. It looks like basically everything's out here. It's been placed in properly published.
Cool. TNF would just be like an Elsevier. It's not a journal. It's a host.
So it's not obviously not genetically engineered. It's drawn from nature. It is interesting, just on that note too, how many things we've been able to draw from nature that are actually doing so well. Annoying bit of news actually is that a kind of laundry list of peptides just didn't get approved. Now they didn't get approved because they haven't been adequately proven to
that would be the
function yet, but most of them are pretty good and showing great efficacy. But the FDA is always slow. That's just the way it is.
By the way, and this is just a pet peeve. I saw someone out there talking about the GLP-1s and trying to be smarmy and smarter than the pay grade on this one, as a means of. So you know how there's that bit of salesmanship among the professionally untruthful, where they will sell you a small truth to feed a bigger lie.
Yeah, sure.
And here's the one of them, the GLP-1, the whole peptide thing with that Ozempic, Zepbound, etc., Mounjaro. These are GLP-1 agonists, as in they stimulate production of, or if for a receptor site, they stimulate stimulation of it, so they're agonists. They stimulate production of GLP-1 in the gut, which causes the insensitivity to or the insensitivity to the hunger signal, if you will. So increases satiation by a GLP-1 stimulation or stimulated production. So that is the pathway by which those peptides are utilized. That's the dominant or predominant pathway in which they're utilized, is to stimulate production of GLP-1. They're not GLP-1 to start with, and that's not what's told to customers to start with. That's just the shorthand by which people can discuss the impact in the body. These are a bunch of different GLP-1 agonists. So that was being used to sell some fucking snake oil before. You don't even know what you're putting in your body, this, that, and the other. Oh, and by the way, it comes from Gila monster venom. Which, by the way, yes, it does. It's not Gila monster venom. It comes from it. And then this guy went on to discuss, this, that, and the other things that are in Gila monster venom, which again have no bearing on GLP-1 agonists, which are synthetic. Like, they're not out there milking Gila monsters for their venom to start stabbing into other people's guts and help them out. That would, well, for one, that would be incredibly fucking painful. Gila monster bites are really bad, weak kind of pain.
I would imagine.
That's this. I am so glad I have not witnessed this one firsthand. Just I'll put it like that. Like the make the grown man cry trope, makes the hardened ranger cry. Yeah, again, just that kind of shit is so fucking annoying. So bringing it back to the non-approval of these these peptides. So a lot of, as far as the kind of DIY peptide industry has figured out how to self-regulate on safety and so on, I'm sure that the FDA has at least looked into their activities to see, what is of merit and what is not, what can be replicated to establish safety and what can't. Like that is, it's to the point where it's not enough. It'd be interesting to see what the crossover is between the ones that they say should be approved versus what has actually been approved.
None.
And what the extent
Zero.
of the research. Well, no, but not the various third-party safety lab analyses versus what the FDA.
No, well, that's fair. I'll actually be including a link to Disclosed Labs, which has a lot of this info on it. But just a real quick, it was the 7 big deal ones: BPC 157, KPV, TB 500, MOTS C, DSI. I'm not going to try this. DSIP, Epitalin, and Cimex.
Just say DSIP.
Yeah, DSIP. Imedil. Oh, fuck it, I'll try it. Imedeltide? I think.
Close enough.
Anyway, now, that said, they haven't been outlawed any more than they are currently. So, if you want things, they are to be had without.
Well, you just have to remember the
difficulty.
research loophole has not been closed because the FDA is still too chicken shit to consider that an option, which, frankly, FDA approved versus, banned from in illegal is a wide gap, and I'm glad to keep that around because FDA does not need to be approving every fucking thing in my life.
Yeah, there's a lot that should be
Customer
available.
Safety, right? That said, consumer safety is a thing.
Yeah,
It's
like I get it, but I think we should be. I'd like it if
we
things
can
were
all
a little bit more.
we can all wink, nudge,
easily.
and nod when it comes to this are for research only use, not for human use.
As long as we can
But
kind of
sometimes
keep
that's
things
true.
in the gray market, as it were.
Sometimes that disclaimer is true. Is all I'm going to put out there is that sometimes that is not a dog whistle that you can stick this in your arm anyway.
Oh, well, no. I mean, to be completely fair, any given human body is quite different from the next human body.
And more
So the
importantly on
things that might cause inflammation in one individual might not in another, might even be helpful.
And going back to the whole COVID discussion, and more importantly here, this is something that we on occasion I harp on. What you put in your own body is, one, your choice, and two, probably one of, if not the biggest, then among the top 5 biggest choices you make. Be it every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or, at the doctor's office, at your home when you take prescriptions, or supplements, what have you. Like, this is not something you get one body in your life. You get one life. This is the pursuit of looking like the guy who beat his face with hammers. Would not take that. So I'm not saying that that's the place people go for advice. Just saying that in the culture there is that embedded element. This comes back to what I mentioned about snake oil salesmen.
Well,
the same
to comment directly on what you're saying, don't do meth.
Don't
Steroids are fine. But if you're going to do them
You
smartly,
better know
because you
damn
can.
well what you're
You
doing.
absolutely can. You can do them smartly. You can even do them legally, if I'm being completely honest.
Don't get the oversized head, raisinets, and brittle bones. You know.
Yeah. Well, on that same note, there are
That'd be
perfectly
the fat
safe
head, shrunken
steroids out
testicles,
there and everything. But there's actually
everything's safe until suddenly there's side effects
oh, well, no, I mean,
that turn out to be real effects, not just side effects. Like, you know, a side effect of anabolic steroids is muscle growth. Sure.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying. There are well-known and well-studied solutions to these problems that exist and are safe if done in safe ways.
Look, we all pick our poisons. You know, I enjoy alcohol. Not to say the excesses that maybe I did, a decade ago, sure, but like I enjoy alcohol. I don't smoke or do pretty much any other drugs, so that's me. Someone else will do pot. I might explain to them how smoking it would be horrible for them, and suggest brownies as an alternative. If you want to do whatever cocktail of peptides, and I do nootropic supplements on occasion. Like that's a thing.
Well, that said too,
Like,
there are peptides out there that have shown no negative effect, exist in the body.
Know what you're putting into you. That's all I'm saying is know what you're putting into you.
That's a completely reasonable statement to make.
And try to establish that knowledge where you're not the test subject in a single test trial population one.
That is fair. By that same notion, though, there are things that are for research purposes only, cough, that, if you feel like being a researcher, you might find that you will learn some very interesting things in your course of research.
Well, let me give you an example of what I mean on this. You go into the nootropics at all, you end up dealing with the racetams. Turns out that fasiracetam and nephiracetam toxic for your testicles, and somebody had to find that out. Yeah.
Well,
don't be that somebody. that's the take.
To be fair, you don't necessarily
want just in rat studies.
You don't necessarily want to be the first one through the door. That one's just a given. I mean, unless you're Johnny Science and you're out there doing this shit in your in your own laboratory.
I want to make that part clear. You said unless you're Johnny Science. If you're Johnny Science, step back and look at it 3 times as long as you would have, because one thing about being smart, you're great at rationalizing really stupid ideas. Like incredibly dumb ideas. To come up with a perfectly rational explanation to convince yourself to do something stupid. Don't do that.
Craig, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
There you go. On that exact note, what did I get what my dissertation topic? We talked about this before. Was I the one who was interested in curing baby cancer? Fucking no. I didn't find out about that until I was halfway done with the project. Right? I was almost burning plastic in a rheometer. And then extruders. Hey, what are we actually doing with this?
Yeah, funny that. Well, anyway, I've got a bit of it's not the worst segue, but it goes to Poland, and that is that they are kind of working against these kind of things. So they've got some legislation that is moving through. It looks like it's gonna happen, short of a presidential veto. So this could get a little weird. Long and short, holistic medicine and natural medicine. Holistic medicine, okay, fine. That's not had a lot of efficacy. Natural medicine, on the other hand, there's good natural medicine. Now,
so there is somewhat effective natural medicine. There's natural. So this is where I have some issues with the way that this transition from we'll broadly call it naturopathy almost. So natural medicine just as a thing. Towards modern medicine, the thing is most of what worked as natural medicine, we turned into medicine. And that's not to say, look, if you have a headache,
There's
Like, look, if you have a headache and you can go if you have a willow tree nearby and you have a headache, brew up some willow tea and get that salicylic acid.
well, another really good example is out of China. They had something, and it's just completely escaping me. It was just like an herb that you would give to people that had anemia, and it helped. And then down the line, and of course that was part of traditional Chinese medicine for forever. And then somebody's like, "Hey, let's take a look at that." Oh, hey, there's a neat compound in there, and they isolated it, and it's like it is the drug for sickle cell anemia now. I could now I might be a little wrong on the actual disease, but there is. Oh no, malaria! Malaria. That's what it was.
So well, quinine is a good example here.
That is exactly it. Yeah, no, it was malaria.
And by the way, the sickle cell anemia thing, there has been progress on that just relatively recently. Funny that you mention it. That's something that we're on the verge of basically making a thing of the past, which is fucking wild.
Oh, here we go.
Like, 'cause look at it, for lack of better or worse on this stuff. When we did studies on our populations. It turns out that black people, at least in America, I'm assuming to an extent in Africa than their origin populations. At least in the United States, black people are more susceptible to sickle cell anemia. It's just a fact of life. The same way that Jews are more susceptible to like IBS and Tay-Sachs.
A funny one, a funny weird one, is there is a natural call in like the African American, I think African too, just like straight African, but cornstarch.
Yes, yeah. I can't remember what the hell it was called.
I can't either. It's like there's something lacking in their biochemistry that's like.
Well, it's a iron deficiency.
Yeah, and it's like they have.
It's the same way that you see this in other people who like to chew ice. Typically, it is an indicator of an iron deficiency or proclivity towards iron deficiency. But yeah, so the sickle cell anemia is like there's treatment now for permanent cure of sickle cell anemia, which is we're going to see that as a disease issue is going to disappear.
That'd be pretty cool.
Which is going to be so fucking cool.
Absolutely.
Like that is on the scale of curing smallpox. Kind of cool.
Sure.
Not curing, eliminating smallpox.
Not either. Well, let's be fair, but yeah.
But yeah, like the notion that as remember, this is like a congenital. This is disease you're born with, and it can just be taken away like that. That's great. Just kind of one and done, one course of treatment, no more sickle cell anemia. Super.
So it's. I think that personally, this is a foolish move, and I also think this is a move. Just a classic EU oligarch move, in that we are the ones who decide for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be real. That's the big deal with it.
There's something to. So, for example, atropine is useful for not just dilating eyes, but for other treatments that are kind of. So it's got a narrow therapeutic index and a very low threshold for toxicity. So atropine is, as well as other tropane alkaloids, hint where I'm going with this. There's a case to be made that datura, belladonna, etc., are things you could use for natural medicine, and not just feeling like you're flying as quote witch high on their ass. Instead of just dilating your eyes with deadly nightshade, that's the name belladonna. Like this, these are things that have. There's a wide variety of these natural compounds which have some utility, but there's not the buyer beware thing kind of comes in here, and the know yourself kind of bit. Specifically, what we were talking about just before about not being the first lemming off the cliff. And certainly don't be the last one. but like, I think you're kind of getting the notion I'm going with here. Like, you want to be careful and you want to know that things actually fucking work. One of the biggest issues you have with natural medicine products and supplements is that they a lot of times lack standardization, and not just the active component.
No,
but
no, no,
even if they
no.
are
I will
standardized,
stop you immediately
even if
because I
standardized the active
personally take a
component,
number of natural supplements, and you are 1,000% correct. Your distributor and manufacturer of the products you use is
huge difference.
such a big deal. Like,
And it's not even just the active component you care about. Oftentimes, it's components besides the active component, which are either
not only
important
that, the process
or
used
worse.
to derive those components, even sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why I prefer when we get to the stage where we're making something into medicine when it comes to health critical applications. When it's something like, it's nice if you don't have that one little ache every so often, so maybe you do kava. Like, that is, standardizing just the cavalactones or whatever, like, that's probably fine. Your liver will hate you for a little while, maybe later, but you're probably not going to get cirrhosis unless you're a heavy user. But if it comes to something like, I don't know, let's go towards more personal. Like, if say you're taking Adderall, you don't want crack dealer down the streets amphetamines. You want the ones that came out of the big building that has the people who know what the fuck they're doing in it. There's you don't go down to
yeah, Walter White's nice, but I'll take my Pervitin in a can, thank you.
There you go. Like, you don't want to go down to, like, Bob's Tire Store and Advil dispensary. Sorry, Advil manufacturer. You want to know that you got it from a reputable source. And look, you can go ahead and talk about things like the Purdue family. The OxyContin, Vioxx, etc.
Sure.
The Vioxx thing that's pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's really fucking bad.
Real.
And it was a reputable company, and it passed FDA tests and standards and everything. Yes. The fact is that the reason those are such big events when they happen is not just from the scope of people that are involved, but for the rarity with which they do happen. Well, I should say the frequency with which they happen. The lower frequency with which they happen. And you go and you do non-standardized natural medicine of whatever variety, and you have something that has a serious potential for severe reaction or illness to come out of it if you have the dosage wrong. Like, that shit does happen, and it happens quite frequently. That's really frustrating for people who do poison control, I can tell you.
Now, on that same note, as I was just talking about developing drugs in your garage, I have a hell of a story. A fella,
a drug was involved in a garage.
not just, possibly a whole new kind of vector of attack. In this case, on Alzheimer's.
Ooh, cool.
Yes. So
this isn't like last time where it turned out that a whole series of like a decade and a half of research was based on bullshit, right?
Actually, literally the opposite. Good. So he took all the research that had been done up till now and was like, okay, these things seemed to work, and this seemed to work but was toxic, or this kind of worked but wasn't great, and tried to figure out why. And did. Mm-hmm. And did. He has created the world's first selective GALR1 antagonist. There's 3 receptors that the most effective previous drugs targeted. And in targeting these 3 receptors, any damage that was being undone was being redone. In this selective antagonist, it targets 2 receptors. The 3rd receptor is the one that tells your body to fix the problems. So in leaving that one on, it basically says, to put it in the simplest of terms, this isn't tumors, obviously, but just to put it in terms people will get, this is like telling the tumor, hey, you're not cancerous anymore, don't Don't worry about cell division or anything. Just stay there. Just
Well, it'd be
stay
nice
there.
if they found a way to actually like dissolve the beta plaques. Like, 'cause that's the protein misfolding issue is the bigger problem. Like, it's not just a symptomatic presentation of it. It is part of the disease mechanism.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here, I'll drop this in staff chat
So,
because he's got a nice long write up on the whole thing, so you can read over it.
okay.
But I'm just trying to give the folks a brief once over, and of course, obviously, the link will be down below, so you can look over it yourself.
That's fucking funny.
But,
Designed and synthesized in a chemistry lab I built in my garage.
oh, and he's got a picture of his lab too,
Beautiful.
and in
That's
the
fucking
garage,
great.
it's great. It's so good. Fully Walter White, man. Fully. He's even got like some Tupperware with his stuff in it. It's like, chef's fucking kiss.
No, I've done I've done the home lab stuff. I've done the proverbial taking your work home with you. And,
If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So long and short, this guy
just
basically
gotta
took all this
be
data,
safe and stuff.
kind of came up with what should work, and then ran it through modern LLMs. Then tested it out on mice, and it works every time. Improves the brain function of genetically impaired mice that they're built to be Alzheimer's recipients.
Stupid old age.
Yeah, it's like they're made to do that, and then the mice that were treated with this, well, they seem to work. Now, the specific functions and methods
Did
of
he get them
this.
flowers?
What's that?
Did he get them flowers?
No, they were actually just kind of playing with little
Come on,
Rubik's Cube
laugh.
things.
Flowers for Algernon for the few people who didn't get that. I hope. Maybe
I'm
I'm dating
only
myself.
vaguely familiar with that story, so actually, you totally got me with that one.
All right, stupid person impaired, rat stupid impaired. They both get a drug. They both get smarter. Drug wears off due to resistance or acclimation, whatever. So they both can't take it anymore. The Algernon effect is the guy was blissful in his ignorance until he was shown the light, and then now that it was taken away, he's bitter and upset. And so at the end, of course, the mouse finally croaks, and he brings flowers for Algernon.
Oh,
Algernon
okay.
mouse.
That's neat, man.
The Algernon effects.
Oh, cool.
Blissful ignorance. Anyway,
You know what?
now that you don't have to read the book anymore.
That's true. I will actually, at this very moment, because it's thematically appropriate, recommend to you and to our listeners a graphic novel or comic, whatever, by Grant Morrison, titled We Three. It's very good. Storytelling is excellent. Not a lot of dialogue. What dialogue is there is well suited and appropriate. Think of it as a Homeward Bound type story.
Okay.
But,
On Milo Notice, if you will.
more Homeward Bound.
Okay.
Specifically Homeward Bound.
Does it have a sniveling little shit that gets hit
version.
at the end?
What's that?
Does it have a sniveling little shit who gets hit at the end and goes, "That's battery, that's double battery."
I don't want to ruin any of it. I don't want to ruin any of it. It's very well written, actually. And it's about a dog, a cat, and a bunny. And their journey to try and make it home. And it's a powerful story, like just genuinely. And the art's really good too. It's a Grant Morrison deal, so he generally, back in the day, only attached himself to really good stuff. These days, you can't really account for anything that any given comic writer is doing. It's just one of those things. Oops. Oh, speaking of oops. So we've learned something. Something by way of, unfortunately, the rape gang inquiry. And it was that
all a farce and Dorney rapes and oh god, we're gonna have to apologize to all these Muslims?
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
Not that.
That's unfortunate.
No, we've
hope there for a second.
Oh no, it's much worse, as everything is. It only just gets worse. So what's happened is that. Oh, Jesus, I don't even want to fucking tell the story. This shit's terrible. Fucking whatever. There's like some 2,000 to 3,000 police officers who are reimbursed with services for looking the other way.
Prostitutes.
Well,
potentially among them being the victims.
Well, not potentially. Only.
Certainly. Only. Okay.
Yeah, only. Specifically.
Well, let me just go ahead and start hazarding a guess as the first and last names of these people, often the same.
Could be. Could be.
Muhammad.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Muhammad. Yusuf. Muhammad.
Would not surprise me one bit.
Aziz. Hassan. Piker. Wait, no.
No, that's a different one with different issues.
That's a different kind of insect.
Yeah. Roach infestations and such. But, yeah. So, yeah, that's just fucking horrible. That is just horrible. And there's no good that has come from this other than the fact that now people know how fucking bad it's been. I got no other updates in that. Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry, I do have another update, actually. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, I should be honest here. They're reopening the cases in London and looking in to see who knew, and specifically who in power knew. Because we know now that the information was readily available to the mayor of London, the man of peace, you might call him. But, yeah, they're going back and looking through, seeing who knew what, when, and maybe what they let slide. We'll see if anything comes of it, but with the rampant anger, something might. And speaking of coming from things, we already talked about them going to Mogadishu to pick somebody up. Now, you'll remember us talking about a lady that described how Somalis and Americans together were like a natural combo, like bananas and rice.
I do, and I remember exactly where she ended up just recently.
Yes, indeed. Well, she got a little handsy with the feds, yep. And
she thought that they were going to take away her bananas and rice.
Well,
it turns out by her own actions.
Yeah, it would appear that no more bananas and rice for you. I don't know. Now, they might serve them in prison. Don't know. Who knows?
Probably separately, though.
But that's a federal jail, because that was assault on a federal officer. So, we'll just see how that plays. Or as it was said by a certain judge, things move differently now. And that's a good line. I'm gonna keep a hold of that one. So, what else have we got? We've actually got something very, very, very funny that happened over the weekend. Scott Wiener thought that he would go out and support his people, quote. And
yes, he did.
And he
discovered something about himself.
He did. You can go out there, you can make it perfectly legal for people to fuck kids and spread AIDS,
and you'd think this would be why people are angry at him.
You might think that.
In a sane world, this would be why people were upset.
You might. But it's a little more complicated than that.
It's not terribly complicated.
Oh, it's actually not complicated at all.
It's
not
just
even
a little different.
Oh, what a funny...
Why hate him for getting adult males raping young males off of the sex registry? Why hate him for that? Why hate him for intentionally spreading diseases like AIDS off of felony status down to misdemeanor? Why hate him for that when you could just hate him for being Jewish? And here's the thing: is people say, "Oh, well, no, he was defending Israel." It's like, no. He fucking cheered with you guys. He also doesn't like Israel. He's one of those Jews. They just don't like him because of his ethnicity.
It's a funny world.
And here's the thing: is he appeased these people? He originally didn't have much of a position on the whole Palestine thing until they shrieked at him, and then he decided to change his tune and said, "Okay, I'll take a position. I don't like it either," and that wasn't good enough. Which is kind of the consistent theme there when it comes to Marxists.
Absolutely, it never is. Never.
They
ever
will eat
will
their
it
own
be enough.
always. So yeah, I'm glad he's going through this right now. It's not going to make a lick of difference as to whether or not normal people like him. It shouldn't anyway. He's not a pitiable character. He's a piece of shit. Schadenfreude and all that. I can laugh.
It's like, what is it?
But
first they came for the communists, and I said, no, there's more over there.
Yeah. Make sure you get the rest.
Yeah. And since we're on the topic, let's focus back in on citizen vigilante, because there's this thing that's going on, this counter narrative. I don't know if you've seen this, but I've seen a shitload of it, and it's fucking funny. Don't you know that Uwe Boll supports the Jews? That he supports the state of Israel? And that this vigilante movie that you're doing, this is actually ensuring the genocide of Christians, don't you know, sir? Don't you know that Quiver Distribution was founded by 2 Jews? Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
There's a lot of dumb shit going on.
Barry Meyerowitz and Jeff Saxman. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care at all. Because what hurts my enemy helps me. And that's the whole fucking story.
I'll say this on this one. The Crusades, so once you get past the Inquisition, by and large, and there's the pogroms, and then, then eventually there's the Holocaust. If you ask, Jews back then if they'd rather live there or risk going back to the Middle East, let me just phrase this here to the lasting impact the Middle Eastern slave trades, multiple, had on our society in ways that you don't normally recognize in your day-to-day life. The reason why we all wear belts to hold pants up, the reason why it's common for Jews and Christians to wear symbols of their faith on a necklace around their necks, that's because it used to be, if you were a slave in the Middle East, you wore a belt. You were required to. Why? Because you weren't wearing robes, working your ass off as a servant. Out in the field or even in the building, you're wearing a belt to hold your pants up. You can talk about the development of the belt as a separate thing over in the farther edges of Europe, from Roman times onward, sure. But when it comes to the Middle East and to global fashion trends that precipitated the single-stripped belt as a fashion accessory to hold your pants up, that's because you were a slave if you were in the Middle East. And the Silk Road dragged you through that. That was part of the culture that spread from that. If you wear your symbol of your faith around your neck, that was because for the jizya, they knew who had paid it, because they would give them a different necklace when they were paid, when the jizya was paid. And if you didn't pay your jizya and your master found out, they would rip the necklace from you. And if someone found you and you hadn't paid jizya, you were no longer acting as the good dhimmi you're supposed to be, just get killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, this shit's like, if you asked a Jew back then, would you rather be in Christian Europe or would you rather be in Muslim Middle East? It sucked to be a Jew in the Middle East. It sucked a lot less to be a Jew in Europe. Holocaust notwithstanding. So when these fuckers come over and they start doing this whole invasion thing again, You notice that they're starting to do the whole try the hijab thing. They're trying to bail your women. They're trying to make them all walk in letterboxes in a trash bag. This is it's cultural imperialism, and it's not going to stop until it's seriously resisted. And it doesn't mean that you have to go to war and kill everyone, but like, people have got to be able to say no, and if they get angry, to tell them to go fuck themselves. Because when they get to a large enough part of the population, it no longer becomes a question of whether or not you can say no. It's whether or not you say no and go home. At all. You know, they're starting to deal with this shit over in England and other parts in Europe. It's a serious issue. I don't mean to be Debbie Downer here at the end of the show, but it is 1 o'clock, so we've got to be done and give it, 5 minutes.
Well, I can always roll out the rest of the stuff, but let me see here. There's a couple of things I'd probably want to...
But, yeah, history lesson from Craig tonight.
Let's see. But yeah, the Taken Citizen Vigilante comparison is pretty much perfect.
I think so.
And nobody has nobody's complained about that.
See, you say that now, we're inviting that. And I actually really want to see how exactly they're going to attack Taken. I want to know what was the big-brained modern audience media literate take from well, let's just say the geniuses of our time. Well, I could pick a variety of different people, different.
Honestly, I haven't seen anything about comparisons between the two. It's basically just people hating on it. The only thing I've seen as far as comparisons are people that are saying, this movie was perfectly acceptable, but this one somehow isn't.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I'm waiting for the other foot to drop. Like, let's make it snappy.
Okay. Good luck.
Where's the lightning rod dipshit who's going to take that strike, right? Come on. I want to see this media literacy in action. Where is this member of the modern audience that's going to tell us what for? How was Taken so culturally cursed for its time? Give us that small bit of ammo, please.
I somehow don't remember anyone saying shit about it, but, maybe they...
I'm pretty sure everybody just said that was fucking awesome. That's everybody.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was Liam Neeson being Liam Neeson in another movie, but frankly, that's kind of like saying, I'll tell myself again. Karate Guy, we'll pick any Karate Guy in a Karate Guy movie. They're all going to be the same. Jackie Chan is another example.
It's like, Chuck Norris. Yeah, he kicks some guy's ass.
Exactly. Like, when I go see a movie like that, I'm doing it for popcorn purposes, and I get the popcorn out of it.
Quick note on that. There's that's one of the things that I will say about Citizen Vigilante. It's a little bit more into the B action than the high production action. And I think that is intentional because, for one, Uwe Boll actually knew what he was working with as far as his budget. And so it's like, I can do these things and I can do these things. And there are things I would like to do that I just can't. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you get to watch it. There's one scene where it's like...
things you can do well,
Well,
that's what you do. You pick the things you can do well and you focus on them.
Yeah, and I will say this. The movie has gorgeous lighting. The lighting it's like something from a 70s Italian movie. It's really good.
Okay.
Like, just legitimately. I was very impressed with the lighting because I had the misfortune of seeing the fucking Benicio del Toro absolute dog shit turd Frankenstein movie that has unfortunately made me not want to watch any movie ever again, ever. I wish I were joking. It's so fucking horrible. God, I hated that fucking piece of trash filth.
You're not talking about I, Frankenstein, are you?
I don't know. It's the one that Del Toro made. It's fucking beautiful, and it is absolute dog shit turds. Anyway.
You really feel...
I was very upset after watching that movie. Anyway.
So,
Like, legitimately. Fuck, I hated that movie so fucking much. Anyway, god damn it, I'm getting fucking...
PTSD flashbacks aren't shit. All right.
Anyway, any fucking way. Ford
I
Motors.
did this.
Ford
I'll
fucking
stick it
Motors.
out. One more news item.
Ford Motors.
One more news item, and I'm done.
Ford Motors fired a bunch of people because AI is going to replace them. 350.
This wasn't good news.
Guess what? AI
action?
didn't meet
I
the
don't know.
task. So 350 engineers
Well,
are on their way
that
back
was
to
bad
Ford
news.
Motor Company.
Sorry, we couldn't help. Noticing that the task didn't happen right, so we'd like you to come back. That's not good news. That's. Please come back and train the AI better so we can fire you again. That's what that news is.
Actually, no. No, apparently they learned. We'll see, but Ford's VP of Vehicle Hardware Engineering, Charles Poon, said AI is a great tool, but only as good as the information it's trained on. So they're bringing in the engineers to train more engineers, and yes, also to train the AI, but to actually have engineers on hand and not get rid of all of them, because we're now starting to learn that you kind of need somebody there at the levers.
Yeah, because it turns out human brains have structures to them that LLMs don't. And they're fucking important. Well, we talked about all that stuff before. I won't go into another rant on it.
Yeah, it's been
Seriously.
mentioned. So, now it's actually bad news, but it's long-term good news. Mom Donnie put in a rent freeze in New York City. That's going to be rough in the near term. In the long term, people will learn. Will they learn?
We are doing this again. So not only do they learn, they forget.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of
they'll learn for a little while.
And speaking of learning, just a super real quick one here.
Yeah.
You're not going to be surprised by this. We were talking about the AC thing in the European Union. Just a quick note: one of the key people one of the key groups that made that decision. They have their headquarters in Brussels, as you might imagine, and their headquarters is air conditioned, but not on the first 7 floors where the people do the manual labor. No, sir. The executive suites, however, nice and comfy. As you'd imagine. But anyway, these WEF folks, interesting thing here. There's this World Economic Forum thing called a cooling paradox. What's a cooling paradox? Well, it's the whole thing, and it requires sustainable solutions and solutions to problems and passive cooling and smart tech and a bunch of other fucking dumb shit. So basically, the long and short of this is that this whole anti-air conditioning thing is basically just a big WEF push, and has been for about the past 7-8 years. Because the power's there in France. They just could. The power was there in Germany up until the past 6 years. And they just could have. They just didn't.
Oh my god.
So, surprising no one, the WEF fucks up everything again.
Look, you're not going to own anything. You're going to be happy and sweaty.
Mm-hmm. All right, so what was it here? I've got the last one, and that is...
That's actually a serious question to ask at some point.
Yeah.
Is the person from that commercial even real, or was that person entirely fabricated, based off of customer surveys?
I mean, it is actually possible, and considering that was right about the dawn of AI, it could actually have been.
Bear in mind that for the decade and a half prior to the rise of AI as we know it today, we were doing shit like just fabricating people out of nothing. Like this is not the whole fact, like the idea that we couldn't just like make someone exist. We were CGIing shit since before the Matrix in 2000.
That's a fact.
And WEF has contributing billionaires, so I don't think it's outside their purview to be able to afford the studio time.
Yeah, it's not a big ask. I mean, if we're to believe everything that's out there,
it's one of those things. I'm wondering, like, how market tested is all their bullshit in that sense? You know, because they're going to want to maximize return on investment when it comes to destroying the fucking planet. They are still billionaires after all.
True. True.
You know, the majority of them didn't fall into that by accident. They did it by being horrible. You know, as opposed to a billionaire, say, in this country who does something to make the world better, these are people who genuinely want to fuck it up for everyone.
They do. And just a real quick here, because Germany actually put out a thing on why you shouldn't do this, and it's that it's the fucking dumbest shit. Like they're not effective because they vent the hot air outside. I shit you not.
Oh god, I would have hurt someone.
Oh, it's not effective because they vent hot air outside, which causes a pressure drop, which brings air into the room, making it overall hotter. This is the actual, from the fucking German government, reason you don't use it. Are you fucking...
Now, for a country that is known for its engineering, that is astoundingly stupid.
Like the AC. This shit that's blowing on me right fucking now. This air conditioning that is blowing on me is actually making me hotter. Okay.
What this tells me is that...
Okay, Hans.
Any notion...
Holy shit, Klaus. What the fuck is wrong with you?
This tells me any notion of German excellence in engineering is over, fundamentally.
Gone.
That was able to be published in a country as
done and
well
fucking
known
dusted
for its engineering prowess.
That is 99. That's not even 100 IQ right there.
That is like Dr. Gay at Harvard. Just gone. Harvard gone.
Just
right?
The dumbest.
That is
dumbest,
German engineering.
Shit.
German engineering is fucked from that. Tell me, like, and I get it. Like, I'm being facetious on this, obviously. But, like, still, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
There better be a crowd of German engineers waiting outside the moron who approved that room in the morning, lined up ready to slap the shit out of him. That is some peak retardation.
Yep. So let's close out with two good ones here. So we've got Jim Comer, Republican out of Kentucky, is digging into the previous ATF and their ties potentially with numerous organizations that, hate human rights and everything, because, interesting note, the Biden White House talked with Glock corporate, had somebody come down, and as soon as that went through, they put through the specific Glock ban in Cali, I think. No, Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, already disbanded, but again, disbanded.
But they ignored the original subpoenas and wouldn't give us any of the information or give the public any of the information. So Comer's like, all right, you will give me the information. So it's been legally requested now. This was him working with Everytown, which is probably about the shittiest of the shitty as they go. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what is discovered in this. Very, very interesting. And the last one, the very last, hopefully not the least, hopefully not, but there's a rumor with all these cutbacks and scaling back at console makers because, prices are what they are, and, certain companies have been led in ways that were just not really helpful to the bottom line. There's a rumor that Neil Druckmann of Naughty Dog is on the chopping block.
Oh no!
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
Why not Sharma?
So yeah, aside from the fact that nothing of value would be lost, that could be good. Could be good. Oh yeah, the other thing. Fuck, there was the Supreme Court did another thing. 3 decision. Did something for our rights. Damn it. It was something good. I hate it when I can't remember this. Okay, well, while I'm trying to remember, GameStop's still trying to buy eBay, and they're actually going hostile with it. Here it is. No geofences, no geofence warrants. So no more.
Right. They have to ask.
Yeah, they'll actually have to get a. I hate it when I can't remember words. A fucking court order.
Well, yeah.
So they're not going to be able to just send out their.
They can't just like.
They can't send out their like mobile tower things that sweep up all the data. They'll actually have to get a warrant. A warrant. Can't believe I didn't figure that out. Goodness gracious. Oh, another good piece of news. Just a real quick. We covered this one a couple weeks ago. English veteran, Brit guy, was just standing around when all the crazy shit was going down in Ireland, Northern Ireland. When they were, Henry Nowak and all that, and everything was going down. The guy who we reported on him getting just gang skanked by the cops for standing around as they were walking past. Beat the hell out of the guy. Anyway, he's been cleared. He's all good. Found not guilty, and I hope that the guy goes after the Crown prosecutors if he can. And by golly, I think that's all the top-level stuff that I wanted to hear.
Well, let's call it.
All right, sounds good. Was there anything else you were wanting to mention?
No.
I'm surprised. I kind of figured you'd talk about the one thing. The one thing being, DOC is lifting controls on Anthropic's Fable. Apparently tonight. We'll see what's happening with it. But,
No, I'm not going to get sucked in on that one.
Yeah, who knows what'll be with that. So, anyway.
We'll be around next week,
We will.
And by the way, so this Saturday, 4th of July, I will be celebrating with family, so...
very possible I will be as well.
Time to do a show, but we will try to hit this weekend as we do.
Yeah, we'll try and go for Sunday, realistically.
See about Sunday.
If we can. Right. But with that said, everybody, been an absolute pleasure. If you somehow don't hear from us before then, or you decide to listen to this on the 5th for some reason, have a wonderful 4th of July Independence Day. Spend it with some family, have some steaks or some burgers or whatever it is you do that is just a good time. And appreciate what good few things we have, and the things that we've gotten back, had to claw back in some cases. But either way, things are a little weird, a little strange, and they're probably going to get a little weirder. But I think we're going to make it. So let's go with that. You can find my man Craig there at CraigBob99. I'm Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan. You can find our good friend Steve at Ratman720. And people, thank you. Just thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to share the news and everything else worth sharing. So be well, be safe. Give us a follow, share everything around, and see you soon.